1 year ago today, PUBG Mobile went online in over 200 countries. On the 1 year anniversary of the game, we're here with you to witness the honor and the glory. The Anniversary Royale Pass will go live as scheduled with the usual variety of rewards and a load of anniversary exclusive items such as the brilliant anniversary outfit, the retro anniversary set, and the L&Q Chicken M762 finish. Don't miss out. PUBG Mobile, be the one. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass, you deserve it.
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pen. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile. Be the one.
Zombie, Darkest Night. The newest mode in the zombie universe is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding the skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
Left standing on his team, if I'm right in saying.
Looks like it needs down.
Oh, what white. Quite an interesting position here.
There's the peak. Oh! Relax takes a lot of damage, but he does get the knock on Amori.
Shots going to be raining in, and the K are going to be going down one after another. MEA trying to get those kills. We did call them out as a team that have to do well. And it might just happen. The peak comes in, he gets it.
Have everybody down, and it looks like MEA still in the thick of it. They get Needle knocked down.
Push is going to be coming out from these teams.
They have to move pretty quickly, but LND, how about that play?
Got to give it to them, but
Take that as Ben loses his life. LTK are laughing all the way. He's got Hama knocked down, but here comes around the side. It's Corp. And he does get one knock for himself. There he goes. Tries to get him in. See Moha's going out there, so Nox to lose their last member out in 10th place. OKA approaching on SMP. A lot of fights inbound. Drugs is going to play in the scopes. He's looking for it. Tries to pre-fire. Goes in the wrong direction. Finally gets in. He's going to have to make a run. It was actually 2 members. That the rock here. We got no time to talk about that, though, because it looks like there's another one between UN and SWAT.
They have to be careful. There's a car coming up behind them.
It's going real fast right now. Careful there. Latchin wrapping around the side. He sees them. They don't see him at all. He gets the double knock, the double kill. Here. Ray looks for the peak. Looks like Siege is going to be there. However, Faker stepping around. He just wants the finishing blow, doesn't want a chance from him. Looks like Captain wrapping around, and now they found Ben down. Gonna get the finishing. There's the big breach, and they will be able to finish it off. Still gotta be careful, though. Zico, it's just a one-man rush. He does get around the side. This time, he does team back up, and he's gonna fall. Oh, Mass is getting dropped down, and that means Narcos. Time to shine right now. Oh, Corp just couldn't quite get the scope up in time. Captain
for them, they've got to be a GG well played.
Does get one. Nice tap. Oh, big spray down onto Thanos. Yeah. Always a good idea. 963. Oh, man, they're going far up off the map. We've got liftoff, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be rough, and I think this is where the story for 965 finished. That's not a total loss right now. Expect that shot. Jaswar is going to be able to get the outplay on him. Finding the UN members, they've been hunting for them for a long time. That will be one finishing feat. Ray's going to get knocked. Yeah, and he gets taken out. Last move out into the open. Really no spots for anyone to be available in. And Lashin goes for the run, but he gets... Welcome back once again, everybody, to the PUBG Mobile Club Open. This is, of course, the spring split for the MEA region. I am Devin Pyrotechnics Young, and I am joined on this broadcast by the wonderful, the illustrious Tom Pickering, also known as Wee Freeman.
Austrious. Nah,
Illustrious. I've been wanting to use that for a little while.
There you go.
I don't know what Austrious is. That's like being Austrian, I think.
That's why I brought it up. I was like, hang on a minute, it's a little bit weird. Is it being like Austrialized?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you're British, so I didn't want to get the wrong nationality there for sure. But we have had some incredible performances over the last couple of days, and finally we're going to get to see some cross-group stuff. Teams that have already played, have already started their stuff, they will be getting a chance to flex on one another here today.
Yeah, so we're going to be seeing we're going to be seeing Group A and Group C. Yesterday we had a Group C and D going against it, and the day before, on the first day, we had a Group A and B. So let's have a look at the tournament rules here.
Yep, so the way things work out here is that placement is all too important. First place into a whopping total of 30 points, second 22, and you could see and so on, whereas kills will only get you a single point. So you really have to start stacking them up if you want to make it worth. We did see one of the teams, 69 SWAT, or rather SWAT 69, doing that yesterday where they picked up 20 kills and a first place finish, but apart from that, it's mostly been about the placement.
Yeah, and even though they got 50 points in total that first game, they really didn't actually end out too fantastic. Later on in the game, they weren't able to have that consistency, I felt, after the in the sort of final game and even in the third game, because they did miss the first game.
Yeah, and taking a look, we can see what's happened so far in this week one of the group stages. 7 Reef team, we'll see them as well today. Really got that first win on Vikendi, but they weren't able to pick it up after the fact. Over in day 2 yesterday, we saw SWAT 69. That was that big Miramar matchup. Nox ended up taking the first Erangel, and LTK took the second. Today, we actually get ourselves a Sanhok match. That's going to be really interesting to see. That is going to be our first one. Then we will move to Vikendi, and it's double Erangel to close us out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how players decide to play on Sanhok, because it's a very aggressive style map. It's going to have a faster timer. It's going to be pushing people together a lot closer. And there's not going to be any sort of water circles to boot as well. Most people are going to be playing in the land, and as the circles push in, it's going to force them to push closer together. There's not going to be any real vehicle play, I'd imagine. We may see a few wildcards in that front. That may see
maybe a couple. Yeah, you never know, right?
Yeah, you might see them drive around, and yeah, Sanhok's a really interesting map to see. So
yeah, well, having it go over to Vikendi after that is also kind of interesting. So here are our regions as well for the MEA. So Group A, Group B, Group C, Group C, Group C, and Group D. We will see A and C today. So those will be comprised of Team Rush to Crush, Executor, IQM, VK Gamers, 7 Reef Team, or 7T if you prefer, Via War, Just Killer, and Courage Squad. Group C is KA Squad, F16, Nox, 963, 69 SWAT, Sahib Balata, ME Assassins, and the SMP.
Yeah, and the teams that we're going to be watching out for here is going to be the 7T, so 7 Reef Team, as it were, named after the player, and then also KS, which is their tag, which is Kurd Squad, and then also 69 Squad, and then Nox.
Yeah, I think those are our top 4 for sure. Those all those teams currently in the top 10 of the standings as well. They'll have a chance to really break out a little bit further and put some distance between them and the other teams in that top 10, because they won't play until next week in week 2 of the groups.
Yeah, and it's going to be quite hard for these teams to be able to work out the meta. If they were watching the games yesterday, then they might be able to build up some tactics as to how to counter each other out. And I kind of expect that from a couple of these teams, maybe from likes of 69 SWAT and maybe even 7T as well. That they might come in with these advanced tactics, and they've actually gone through and done their homework from last night and the first day.
Now, do you reckon that that's actually more or less of an advantage playing again the following day rather than having to wait a week, which some of the regions will have to do?
I don't really know if it makes too much of a difference. I think this keeps them warm, as it were. So they've gone in from yesterday into today. These specific teams that we talked about, they had a really good day. So they may just be carrying on their high, and the first teams may have calmed down a little bit, and not so much momentum.
Yeah, that's fair. And now 7 Reef Team, they're really not too far off of getting some extra points off on the real deal who aren't going to be playing today. So unless they have an absolutely catastrophic set of maps, they should be able to move into that first place position. But they're not safe. There are other teams still in this top 10 looking to try and knock them off that will be playing today. The likes of Kurd Squad, 69 SWAT as well. And now we take a look through the remainder of the standings. Nox sitting in 9th place right now with 77 points. And of course, Executor, I believe, will also be playing today, and they have 69, so very close up to that one. I mean, Assassins, had a little bit of a rough ride towards the end of yesterday, but I think that they could start picking things back up for themselves. And we had some interesting surprises. Yesterday had a lot of teams kind of rising and falling at different times.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously saw SWAT 69 come in into the second game, and 69 SWAT as well. And they both had really good surprising sort of stats.
They were both in a final 1v1,
yeah. I mean, it was a 1v1 between the two teams with very similar names and really good performances. And there was obviously a big, massive kill sort of difference between them. But when you look at teams like Team Rush to Crush, we thought they were going to be doing very well on the first day. They ended up falling a bit short, so it's going to be interesting to see how that crosses over into the third day here, where we're going to be seeing teams from Group A play.
Yeah, and also another team that I think was down there joining them, SMP. They actually had kind of a lot of good positional games, but not a lot of kills. So they actually did fall a little bit by the wayside. Here you see the bottom of the standings as well. Some of these teams actually didn't end up loading into any of the games, so have been unable to pick up any points so far.
Yeah.
It's always a bit of a rough start. So unless they've really already thrown in the towel, they're going to have to make up for a lot of lost time.
Well, I mean, if they go as hard as SWAT 69 did on yesterday in their first game,
it's possible.
20 kills is going to do it for you if you can get consistent 20 kills.
And a chicken dinner. They
Yeah.
picked up 50 in one go, man, and they didn't place anywhere near that for the rest of the day. That was like an absolute monster performance. And then they were like, yeah, we're just going to relax, kick back a little bit, and didn't quite do it again. But Miramar was clearly their map.
Yeah, I was a little bit disappointed. I was kind of expecting them to be able to just smash it out because we didn't see anyone play nearly at that level. I think the highest kills we saw before, that was actually 12.
Yeah.
From, I think it was actually...
It was the other 60. It was 69 SWAT, I think, at the next game, right?
Yeah, they also got it the next game, but I mean, before from the other groups, there was actually...
Just to clarify, there is a 69 SWAT and a SWAT 69. They are not the same team.
Yeah.
So now you guys know for sure. And, of course, if you want to get access to all that information and more, including all of the rosters, the standings, up to the minute, and, of course, VODs in case you miss anything, you can go ahead and check out our website. It is clubopen.pubgmobile.com for all of that stuff, and you can also check it by every single region. So if your interest expands beyond the MEA, you can definitely get that.
Simples.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, we are broadcasting on YouTube.com, and our channel, if you want to hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss a single minute of the PUBG Club Open, you can go ahead and go to youtube.com/PUBG Mobile Esports.
Really good platform for watching it. I was watching it, rewatching our games last night, and it's really simple, really clean to watch. So make sure
It's
to
great
follow.
VODs, of course. I mean, it's YouTube, man. That's what it's good for.
Yeah, I mean, it was quite interesting to see them actually diving into the live streaming sector and how many viewers are watching it in our regions as well. Yeah.
No, that's really cool stuff too. Yeah, there's been a lot of interest generating around. I mean, this is one of this big PUBG Mobile across the world competition. This is very early days, obviously, in the spring split, but it's great. It's encouraging to see so much interest. So, really, thank you to all the viewers that are watching this, whether it's live, whether you're watching us in a VOD. Still, thank you all very much. You're the best.
And if you're watching, you may well be aware that there is a $2.5 million prize pool at the end of this, which is absolutely crazy. Not these games and not next week's ones. We're leading up
over into the big global competition, right? I mean, to get there, too, it's a tough ride. Yeah. This region, MEA, we have 32 of the best teams that the MEA region can offer, and they only get one spot in the big global finals. Yeah. Now, that happens way later on in the year. There's a whole lot of a gauntlet to go through before then because we'll be thinning this out week by week. The semifinals start in 2 weeks. We'll be cutting the 32 teams down to 24, and then it'll go down to 16, and then we'll have a regional finals several weeks after that. That really determins who that representative will be in the big global event.
Yeah, and the fact that it's just one from our groups is insane because there's, like, even just from today's games, we've got the 70 KS and 69 SWAT and Nox, who we'll be still referring to throughout the game, so I'll just continue on. We've got those teams who are insane, and then we've got another really good set of teams, 4 teams from the other groups. So, and there's only going to be one of them.
Yeah, and that's just based on the one performance we've seen so far, right? Yeah. Like, I think TRD are probably our front runners right now, but 70 were not too far behind them, not as much of a fragging team, but we'll get to see more of them today. And I think it's key that you mentioned that they will have a chance to really adapt now that they've seen some play. 4 more maps is a lot of time to change things.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, you asked me the question earlier, do I think the guys who are going to be competing next week and not today are going to have an advantage? I do, like, reflecting on that, I think they do actually have the advantage because they're going to be able to take the time to go have some practice, review how these teams are playing, and they're going to be able to go from there.
Absolutely. Looks like we are getting on, however, to Sanhok. It'll be the first time we have a Sanhok in this region's competition since it is only day 3 of the group stages. And, well, why don't you take us through a couple of the ins and outs of that one?
Well, we will do it momentarily because this plane is going to be quite a solid one. It's actually the best plane we have seen by far because it's just going to go directly up the center almost on that point. So it's really good for them to have really sort of, not for them, sorry, but for the plane to go directly up north. But all the teams pretty much seem to be going to the mainland on the eastern coast rather than going anywhere on the western side where there is a little bit more work to do if the circle doesn't land on you.
That is curious.
Yeah, that's just pure luck.
Rush to Crush is the only team that isn't going straight there, and they're kind of trying to decide whether or not they want to go west or east. And
yeah, there is a couple of teams like MEA and SMP have now realized that, hang on a minute, let's go off. And actually, SMP have split up, so they're going to be going across a couple of places, and the circle has now appeared, and you did ask me to go through this. It's going to be quite a difficult one because the mainland is potentially the more likely place for it to land, and we might actually be seeing some early fights here in this town between VW and this team here.
Yeah, 963. Both teams that actually had quite a lot of trouble in their previous matches. I think VW having a little bit less of it, they started to pick up a couple of decent placement finishes. The issue with 963 is they always kept running into teams that were just way better at them in firefight situations.
Yeah, I mean, they did have that epic moment yesterday when they ramped up the mountain.
They unfortunately jumped onto 69 SWAT, who are also in this game, and yeah, kind of got mowed down.
You know what we need is we need some piece of paper with like ratings from or whiteboards with ratings from 1 to 10.
Oh, like it's a diving competition.
Yeah, like diving was like 10 points for that because that was fantastic, but unfortunately the
2 for a landing.
Exactly.
I mean, they got 2 people on top of the house, which was kind of sick. But
I think the landing is actually perfect because they landed in a really good spot.
Yeah, I guess when I say the landing, I mean metaphorically.
Yeah, true. The performance. Oh, some shots coming out.
Already the start here. VW looks like they will be the ones to take the first fire. We're also keeping an eye on a couple other teams. 7T over in the distance there you can see as well as this is 69 SWAT. So these are 2 of our better teams. 2 teams both in the top 10 already. And it looks like the first casualty is had. Mohamed Saad going to get executed. First he got down by Chassoir, and that's going to be the end of that.
Not go so good for him. And we did mention SMP before. They're taking quite sort of passive sort of positioning, and looks like they may try and change that around for this match. And maybe even today they've sort of taken a look at how MEA play. And they actually both play very similar, so it's going to be interesting to see how they conflict on that front. So KA are currently in the midst of a firefight, and then we've also got VW who are still in a fight. And just to mention, VW landed in Pachinki twice yesterday, left very early once, and then fought against AM and died in the last game.
This time they seem to be having a little bit of a better go of it. However, they do have one down member. 963 also the same. We'll check in back with that fight in just a moment because KA actually going to find couple of other teams on their trail. Chassoir gets kind of baited into a fight, but he gets the execution without getting downed himself, so that actually worked out pretty well.
That was really good, but he is going to be stuck in a difficult position. So we can see that in the bottom right then. He's actually going to get backstabbed.
Unfortunate stuff for him. So, Mohamed going to get taken down there. KA losing members pretty quickly.
Yeah, we can see some more fights coming out.
Yeah, they're going to get him back, though. That's the other thing. KA had a lot of good fights earlier on. Now, 963 have decided to go all in on this one, moving themselves into the house, but unfortunately, the waiting arms of VW who just absolutely plow through their health bars. And it looks like that will be a pretty big, decisively won fight. It's not quite over yet. VW do lose a member, and it's still spraying coming out here from B-Seal. But he's the last man standing.
He's just spraying at the wall, mate.
That's what you call pre-fire.
So he might even be able to do some work here.
He gets down. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. At this point, he's spraying and quite literally praying.
Yeah, I mean, he ran around the corner, and I mean, third person is famously known for being able to pre-peek corners, so that when you do spray, it's not just praying and spraying. You are quite literally able to see who you're going to shoot out before you go around the corner.
That was just crazy hip fire, man.
He was just like, YOLO, and then ran in there. And unfortunately, as most people who say that word should probably end up in that same situation. But nonetheless, we're down to 38 people.
That's very judgmental of you, Tom. You're not wrong, though. Yeah, so we're down to 10. 38 players alive. Now, I do believe we only had 12 teams actually loaded in. So there's, continuing a couple of teams that still didn't quite show up to the party, unfortunately. Plane will take off when it takes off. Now, we're going to be keeping our eyes on Rush to Crush. They have a chance to get some points back because their first performance on day one, after Vikendi, it all went downhill. There was a lot of hype from them early on. They were doing great at breaching, but I wonder how they'll play on Sanhok.
You know what? AXD, we didn't talk about these guys, but they had some really interesting plays across the maps the other day, and I think we might have sort of bypassed them a bit too fast because
that's fair.
They could actually come in and do some really good performances. I do think that 69 squad here are going to be the sort of main contenders, and also Nox, they had some really good plays even when they're in tight situations in sort of 2 versus 4 situations. They did come out on top sometimes.
No, that's fair for sure. I think AXT are definitely a team that we don't want to overlook too much just because we haven't seen them for a couple of days, but they are in the 11th place position, just outside of the top 10. So definitely a team to keep an eye on. And another one that I pointed to a little bit further down, though, is SMP. They had some good games themselves, mostly on the backs of placement, but they weren't as pacifist as some of the likes of LPI, who were just completely running and hiding for most of the time.
Oh, definitely. And I mean, it'd be interesting to see where these guys do come out on top on that front. I mean, Nox are still in 9th position overall, so they do have that sort of solid sort of positioning and maybe able to jump up a few placements, but it depends if they get knocked out early this game. And there we go. We do actually see a package, and you may think, oh, that's not accessible, but I think you can get that one.
There's really almost nobody there for it. It looks like it's going to be 69 SWAT that actually have the opportunity to get it. Meanwhile, though, off screen, it looks like 7T lose a couple of members, and that's pretty huge because remember, this is our front runner team in this group.
Yeah, I mean, KA, if we take a look at them in a moment, where their standards
they get revenge for KA. 2 knocks. We will take a look, though, at where KA are. I believe they're in 12th place. So, again, another team not really to sleep on at the moment. And they are certainly engaged in this fight right now. The issue is they do have to chuck down a couple of smokes to make sure they can get their reses off. And, well, 7T not entirely keen to move out because they have already lost 1 member and they have 1 knock, so trying to get the res up.
What was quite good about that situation for them is that they didn't have their backs against the blue. They were actually on the positive side, so they had a little bit more time.
Very central circle.
Yeah, and they could also sort of res their teammates, and then when they get pushed, they're going to have the advantage here because it's going to be very hard for KA to be able to get out of that situation without being seen or shot, as long as 70 sort of reposition slightly so they can hold them out.
So all these teams still jockeying for good position right now. 10 still alive. Going to be keeping an eye on Chassoir. Had that first shot. Ooh, he's caught Reef in his sights, but he's spraying pretty heavily, and Reef is doing a lot of stutter step. Unfortunately, not enough for him to avoid damage completely. Control getting knocked down. And 17 might go out of this one pretty early.
Yeah, that was a really good positioning from KA there. Now they're going to be going in for the aggressive push against 17.
Last goes in a little bit too early there. Fazaz able to mow him down. Here we go, though. Mohamed around the side looking for it. The jump, but backing away. And he's got the knockdown, so there's still some fight in Reef team.
It's actually going to be a 1v1 if I'm right in saying, or
looks like
1v2. It's okay, going to be spread out quite a bit here, so it actually might give 70 a chance of survival here.
Okay, Haji going to go for a run, try and get his teammate up. However, the execution will get finished, and Haji going forward ends up losing his life, so that's going to be the end of it for KA squad.
Well, there is actually one more player, but
Chassoir's still up,
seems to be going for a run here. And
he's out of there.
It seems like 70 are also going to run. So what was happening there is that one of the down players was pushing forward and being able to get the spot on a couple of players. So he was trying to feed that information back, and 70 actually took knowledge of this and were able to take purchase on the shots instead of getting down.
Yeah, acting on the knowledge you have, and it's always working out well for them in this particular case. So 70 winning the fight, not quite getting the wipe on to KA squad, but they will be forced to play only for positioning at the end of the day. We will keep an eye here on 69 SWAT, who you do see another team kind of creeping up on him right now.
It's going to be interesting to see what
inside the house.
They're right next to each other.
Oh my goodness, he wasn't even actually shooting at him right now.
He doesn't realize. He's right next to him.
Didn't even happen. And there's a third team. NXT's involved in this as well.
Lashin is just AFK right behind him.
Oh boy, didn't move a muscle. There you go. Nate's coming through. Actually going to chuck one out himself.
That's a smoke.
Yeah, just get the cover for his team. Or rather, for the enemy team, it seems.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he was doing with that smoke, but Lashin is actually AFK, and he's one of the best players for 69 SWAT.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate there. Oh, a little bit of stutter stepping. Mustafa is actually going to get knocked down here. And he just goes right in, goes for the breach, and gets another knock onto Mustafa this time around.
They may end up dying just due to that AFK player.
This is pretty crazy. And I believe this is actually Nox that's going in here. Oh, soon. Starts it off, and it's just an all-out firefight inside this house. But he cannot compete with the sheer numbers he's dealing with. They just completely take this house away.
What is happening with Lashin? Maybe he crashed or something.
Yeah, 69 SWAT had a real rough fight there.
Yeah, I mean, oh, you know what? So they were in these buildings for quite a long time, so I think Lashin has crashed or he's AFK.
He must be. He hasn't moved.
Maybe his mum called him and he had to go do something. So you never know.
You hate to see it, man. Unfortunately, it looks like 69 SWAT there. They're not eliminated yet. I mean, if he just even though he's AFK, if he just stands there for a long time and the circle actually favors him, they might still manage to get a decent positioning. But man, you just hate to see it, especially from one of our better teams.
Yeah, I mean, this really could set them for a really bad path down to the bottom of the leaderboard if they don't sort of connect in next game. If they have to come in with only 3 players, it'd really not be a good one. We do have MEA here, and we haven't talked too much about these guys. They did have some decent sort of positioning. Oh,
yep, he's found.
What's he gonna do?
Just lines it up, waiting for it. Are they gonna go for the gentleman's thing and just not actually take him out?
They're gonna punch him to death.
Oh, okay, well, that just feels bad. Move the camera away. It's like that Simpsons meme. Stop, he's already dead.
What is this for? Oh, brilliant. They're just dancing away at this one. Poor Lashin.
Wow, and they're even emoting.
That is fantastic. Brilliant to see sometimes.
That's going to make the highlight reel. You know that, right?
You have to appreciate the meme and the emotes and the BM that's coming out from there.
That is definitely a bit of BM. All right, so here's our mini-map right now as it's closing in. The circle continues to be pretty central. It looks like it will center on boot camp, where AXT actually are. So that's really going to favor this team. MEA are just on the borders of it, and we wanted to talk about MEA, I remember.
Yeah, so they had some decent sort of positioning, some shots and good tactics on Vikendi, if I'm right in saying, and also a little bit on Miramar, but then they just died out, and that was pretty much it.
Erangel didn't seem to be their map for sure.
After Miramar, which was still not a great map for them, they actually just ended up dropping off the surface of the map. They just didn't do anything. On the military circle, which was the first Erangel game, they died to the blue. They didn't take a single point of damage, I don't think, from a player.
No, because they were so far out to the west and they didn't have a vehicle, so by the time they started moving, it was already too late, and that is just horrendous. So this time, even with 3 players, they've been carefully avoiding a lot of casualties, a lot of chances to, you know, really get involved in firefights. They've been playing the positional game, and they've done it well because they found themselves relatively isolated. We're going to check back in with some of our other front runners though, because 7T, after surviving the big fight with KA, still have 3 members strong. They've gotten them all back up on their feet, and they have been making a run for it. VW also survived their very early firefight and have gotten into the top 10 of teams.
Yeah, so they took out 963, if I'm right in saying, and also just to mention to sort of reflect back on what happened. Obviously, we've only got 9 teams down, and 69 squad go out in 10th position. So we did talk about how that's going to affect them, and it's really not going to be pretty going forward, as they definitely need to try and do that. But they did skip first game last time, so
yeah, I mean, it's better than that, I suppose. You still technically get some positioning points at that point, and checking in with a couple of other teams. This is SB.
Yeah, they were the guys who took out
69 SWAT, Still 3 members strong for them.
So 70 and VW are actually going to be quite close to each other. And this circle is going to be pushing them quite close to boot camp, which is a very dangerous area, and also onto the hillside, which I do expect it to sort of really land on, as that's one of the sort of preferred areas of the circle on Sanhok in this sort of circle.
Better. Oh, that's found an opening there. You got to be careful. Don't step in your teammates' sights. VW starting to take a few pot shots at 7T, but none of them find purchase.
Yeah, it was a bit unfortunate, but, well, fortunate, I guess, for 7T. They've not really had a good start of the game, but they have somehow managed to get 3 players all into the circle here. They were down to 1 person, and they managed to recover from it, so I'm very happy from that side. It looks like the fight is starting.
Sigmund's going to be the first one to get dropped down. Control just had a better shot on him. Good angle at the distance. The smoke gets thrown down, and Reef goes for a run into cover.
I read that. I read that as, like, Smeg.
Yeah, I've seen some interesting acronyms too. You know, it's kind of like, that actually really reminded me of this German train service I took once. It's way out in like West Germany, like super far, like Southwest.
Yeah.
It's SWEG, swag.
All right.
And I'm like, that just sounds like something like 16-year-olds say to each other at the gym.
Swag.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I imagine it. But it's something like Southwestern Euro train service or something. I don't know.
Fair enough. Some acronyms are just
it's also probably in German, so I was just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what I thought his name was.
And like, just to reflect, like, Smeg is actually like a fridge brand as well. Just
oh yeah,
reflect.
no, I've actually seen those.
Right.
I wonder if he's sponsored. Oh, looks like Meta's going to get dropped down into the blue though. Back to the fight. Fazaz is going to be able to have his pick of the litter, and this is the problem. They didn't quite play up against the right angle on the blue, and you can see that new circle has formed, still taking up most of boot camp. So AXT are the only team in 100% safe position, minus one other squad that you can see coming up into boot camp through the
Look at VW
road.
though. They've just been
they're in trouble.
over. 7T are like, we were messed about by
Fazaz was waiting, and he gets the finisher. 2K onto VW. They go out 9th.
That was really good. I have to give props to FT. I think KA really really messed with them there, and they decided to get their own back and actually come with this with a little bit more of an aggressive style and get these frags, which is great to see. And talking about aggression, we're actually seeing the team that's quite known by us for not being that aggressive and quite passive play styles.
Yeah, SMP for sure. They really just do like this kind of cruise around, make sure they can avoid as many people. A team that is a lot more aggressive than they are is Nox, and they just haven't found anybody today. They've been playing a lot of positional games, so a lot of these teams will kind of meet for the first time. And we'll see how it all comes down. AXT, you're just saying, all right, everyone has to come to us because they're the ones who own boot camp at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, what's quite interesting with this circle, it should really land on the hillside right next to boot camp. And there is a crate up there as well, so it'll be interesting to see what is in that. But in the meantime, the circle's still going to be closing and people are going to have to move in every so often. SP, for example, going to start to rotate now up towards MEA.
Firefight started here. SB caught in the crosshairs of Falastine, who has been the hero when MEA have been playing pretty well right now. We'll see if he can do a little bit more. I do have a knockdown onto Ori. And they tried to take cover inside the hut. With 1 point man. SB do seem to be a bit outgunned here. Here's Azriel around the side of the tree. Not sure if MEA see him.
Probably
run into smoke. Yeah, it's Falastine. Yeah. I'm just going to take a forward position on this one. MEA do know how to take firefights in the open. Something they have been very good at. It's just not rotating fast enough has been the death of them.
Yeah, they have to be careful though.
Oh, AXT's in.
Rush to Crush are actually going to be taking some shots at them.
Yeah, well, you could see. Actually, a lot of third parties kind of getting involved here as MEA have run through. Wasi is the one who takes nearly half a little more than half his health bar and damage. As the blue starts to close in, SB are going to have to do a runner as well.
And they should be able to stay ahead of the blue here, but unfortunately they will get shot at, I'd imagine, by a couple of teams here. 70 are ahead of them. Rush to Crush are out of view, fortunately for them.
Azriel on point. It's going to be the one leading the charge here, but it's just playing up to the edge of the circle best they can. And how well will they be able to rotate to it? This is the last remaining member of KA. Shazwar has just been hiding out here pretty much since his team lost that fight.
And these are two teams that went against each other right from the start, and it seems like is that SB and behind them going to be coming up right next to KA here.
Here's Azriel over the hill. I don't think he sees Shazwar. He could be in some serious trouble right now, and extra points could be picked up by the KA members as he's just on the edge of the blue. Control, though, do start to get one off, and he actually takes a second. 7T really running this one.
This is really good for them, and KA playing very smart here. If he was really clever, he would actually wait until they go to loot, chuck a couple of grenades in, and be done with them.
They get everything, though. 7T just completely cleaning up right now. So we're down to 7 teams alive. KA still one of them, is Shazwar doing a great job of just utilizing the edge of this cover. Look at his backpack is in the blue.
Yeah, his back foot almost in as well. I think, yeah, so he's got the QBZ there for him to be able to try and take some shots, and 70 right next to him, but he's laying in that bush. He's a little bush Wookie.
He's going to have to move as soon as the circle starts closing again.
Yeah.
And he's just taking as much time as he can. 17 have started to move, and he's going to go break cover, move out of way. Meanwhile, off-screen, Wasi does get one team member down. It looks like Guns is going to get dropped as well, so it's just a fight by multiple teams, and KA is going to be trying to avoid all of the casualties. Snap just completely get diminished.
That's Nox for you.
Yep, Nox, superior firefighter.
Yeah.
That's funny, because Thanos is on SMP.
And they got snapped out. Brilliant. And look at this, like Rush to Crush going to be going up against AXT, and it looks like they are getting demolished.
Yeah, Rush to Crush trying to take those fights, but it looks like their Vikendi performance is not to be repeated once again. AXT starting off pretty hot and heavy here. Rush will rotate around the side here at boot camp. But AXT, they've been living here for a while. They know the ins and outs. They know how to take the fights. Rush is going to get a drop onto Clown. And the hops, the bunnies going back and forth, but at the end of the day, AXT reigns supreme.
That was really well played by Rush. He did actually get 2 members down, which is insane. And luckily for AXT, they're going to have a little bit of time to be able to recover from that. And AXT with those nades...
Shazwar goes down finally.
They need to do exactly
That's a 5th place finish, though, for KA.
Yeah, that could have actually been a, I think, 10th position in it if he hadn't survived that.
Oh, that's good. Now it's 7T versus Nox. This is going to be a really interesting fight. Been looking forward to seeing this one. Galiko gets dropped down, but he's well within sight. Dr. Luz has managed to get brief. And, Control just runs and guns for it. And now that's going to force Fazan into a really bad situation where he's going to have to try and clutch.
If he has a grenade, it could actually be fantastic for him, but they are keeping an eye out. I think he might have made some noise, and he's got it down 1.
Yeah, that's Dr. Luz. So, all of a sudden, there's still some fight in 7T, but the problem is they're facing down Nox with 4 members alive. 2 are knocked, but they can still get him back up. Fazan, he needs to make tracks quickly. As you mentioned, got to get ready for that grenade. He's trying to time it around, but you can already see Nox have moved. He can't get the angle. He's going to have to run for it.
Oh.
Very close. He actually does get some damage.
He has actually stopped them from reviving them as well, so this could be the kills coming in.
This is massive right now. If 17 can actually do this. Nox are playing so clumped up. MEA, they're going to try to be snaking their way in, but the blue is encroaching rapidly.
AXT have got their number, though, and they are chucking the grenades in. They have done a bit of damage.
Fazan finally getting dropped down. He will be eliminated. The team places in 4th. Not a bad position, but you have to think they would have wanted a little more.
Yeah, and that was so close, but unfortunately, they didn't play as a team in that last moment, and that really punished them. They just rushed in for the kills, and that really dropped them off the map there. And now AXT trying to find the last remaining members of MEA.
Nox are still in this as well. Guns, he's going to get dropped down. AXT, they just know exactly what they're doing. So, Nox going to make a run for it in here. It's going to be Mori's on the front. Down to final 2 teams, MEA in 3rd. Definitely not a bad finish for them, all things considered. their Erangel performances not looking so hot. Here's Ben. He was the hero of, I believe, the chicken dinner that Nox got yesterday. No, sorry, that was Dr. Luz, excuse me. Rotel, blind firing into the smoke.
Yeah, so positioning is going to be everything here, and AXT
3v4, man.
They have the positioning, and they're going to have the meds as well to be able to accomplish this.
They haven't had to leave. I mean, they've been sitting in boot camp pretty much the entire game here. The Circle certainly favored them, but they've played incredibly well when teams have tried to breach onto them. Ben, unfortunately, stands in a little bit just to the left of the Molotov, and he does avoid the nade damage, so nicely done there. Knocks down to 3. Dr. Luz is not in this one.
Very interesting. And, I mean, Nox, they could actually bring this back. We have seen them in tighter situations. Actually clutch it, and the shot
Ben, he gets the knockdown. Here we go. He's waiting and baiting. See if Demon's going to get rezzed up here. However, you can see Maurice, he's the one getting knocked down as well. So, as well as you can trade, unfortunately, Nox are down to 1 member. It's going to be Galiko to try and pull off the clutch. 1v4, not going to happen, and AXT proved true to their name, Executors.
That was really well played. I don't know if Nox just didn't have any grenades at all, but if they did, they should have been throwing them, but it was a bit unfortunate in that part. But nonetheless, guys, GG well played to AXT. And, you know, Clown, Demon, Rotel, and Brilliant. We have seen some really good plays from them
have.
before.
You know, we saw them on day 1, and they had decent, I think, performances for the very least, but they did a lot better. I think they've subbed a player, and Pilat, I think, is their 5th.
Yeah. So it was actually Lord before. He was also performing fairly well, so it's quite nice to be able to see another team member come in and pull off 3 kills as well and help them sort of really pick this up and get in the first game. Yeah. Brilliant news.
Hey, solid performance. Good frags all around. AXT, you know, making good use of the circle position on Sanhok. And, of course, this is a much smaller map. That is a 4x4. We don't really often see it in a lot of tournament settings. So I was really curious to see how that one was going to shake out. But great playing by AXT. I think Nox did exactly what they're really good at, which is moving together, but also
definitely.
like playing really good, like tight firefights. It was really scary there for a moment because I think it was Control nearly got them all down with a nade, but they managed to get everyone back onto their feet, and they still took them out of this one, and that put 7T, you know, down in 4th place.
Yeah, it was actually Ben who clutched it out for them because he was in the opposite position, like hut across the road, so he was able to sort of take down Control. And let's have a look over the highlights here before I carry on in that conversation.
Yeah, this was that first firefight where KA pretty much lost a bunch of their people, or rather where they started to lose some people, but they turned it right around and then ended up being down to just 1 who managed to pretty much just get the heck out of town. Here was that big move in by VW who got a lot of moves. And once more, KA taking that fight against 7T, and, you know, they had some seriously impressive tenacity, but just not enough in the way of actually getting the firefights. SB come in here, they start cleaning house, and, you know, really, this other team didn't know what hit them.
Yeah, and I mean, considering one of the members was a FK, which they then did a nice meme about.
Poor 69 SWAT.
I wonder if we'll see that in a moment, because,
yeah,
here
we are.
go. So Lashin, AFK, and unfortunately just didn't stand a chance. They ended up doing a lovely little dance here before they do punch him out. So GG, well played to SB, who did manage to get a wipe there on team at 69 SWAT.
Yep, finally got him out in the end, and unfortunately for 69 SWAT, they go out pretty early here. Meanwhile, 7T, they're not done with this one. They start pinning down VW, who unfortunately backs against the circle, just cannot fight up against this team. There's a reason that 7T are so high up in the top 10. Even if they didn't place the chicken dinner this time around, they still managed to get quite a bit.
Yeah, and I think their failure we'll see later on, but that's I want to come back to 7T's sort of failure in this game, because I think they could have actually taken the chicken dinner eventually, or at least 2nd place. But MEA actually did fairly decently, but 7T back at it again.
Yeah, I mean, they were always involved. This is the thing. 7T definitely picked up quite a lot for themselves, but Nox were not to be outdone. They pretty much just melted through SMP, who never really seemed to stand much of a chance. And AXT, meanwhile, they just said, this is our house. You are not coming in here. Rush got crushed as they tried to move in. 1 down onto Clown, but that was about it at the end of the day, and they cleaned him up, and then they were able to do the same thing up against Nox. But before that all happened, 7T here, the firefight around the side, it was looking pretty good for them for a little while, but Nox just played it better in the end. And Control, I don't know what he was thinking.
Yeah, so it was Fazza who did actually end up coming up in clutch here. Managed to knock down one of these guys as he tries peeking with a grenade, and then later on he chucks a grenade himself, which does stop them from being able to do too much. Knocks one as he tries to cross, but Ben had that position covered. Really well played, and now right down to the last moment here, AXT taken down to MEA before Nox then cross on over, and it's pretty much going to be all she wrote in a moment. Ben with the M249 using its damage and large ammo capacity to its full use, but unfortunately for them, it just wasn't working for them. AXT had it nailed down.
Yeah, it certainly did. So AXT were definitely the best team there, and I think you were right to point out that 7T, while they looked good, they definitely could have been a little bit better. And it's not just because of the placement, it's because we've seen them do this before. We've seen them play out. It seems like chaotic firefights are not really what they want. They definitely play much more of a positional focus game, but they've been good on defense in the past, and it did seem to throw them through a loop here on Sanhok.
Yeah, it really seems like sometimes they lack the IGL sort of control of what they should be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, of course, if you missed any of those games, you can always check them out on our VODs, which, of course, you can find all the information for at our website. It is, of course, clubopen.pubgmobile.com. And in talking about VODs, you can also see them on the YouTube channel where we stream all of our games, youtube.com/PUBGMOBILE Esports. So make sure you go over there and smash that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you do not miss a single minute of PUBG Mobile action.
Easy peasy lemon squeezies to be able to go and do that. Takes no effort at all.
It's almost as much effort as AXT had to expend in that final fight.
Yeah, I mean, they quite literally just stayed in the same building complex the whole time. They just didn't care. When people moved into the territory, they took care of them. Yeah. MEA, no, get out.
It could be Sanhok is a specialty of theirs. Like, we don't really know exactly, but I think when the circle favors you, how well you can actually defend is such a huge thing. And AXT were never in a position where it seemed like they had to wipe sweat off their brow. Even up against Nox, who are a really good breaching team, they just kind of made them look like they weren't quite at the level.
Yeah, and I mean, it could also be down to the fact that Lord wasn't in their lineup today, and Palat was. It could actually be that Lord was just a substitute and he wasn't really their preferred player. But we'll have to see into the next games because Sanhok was a bit of a wild card map because we've not seen it before. And we've also not seen these teams play against each other before, or most of them anyway. Well, exactly half of them, I guess. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how this sort of evolves and what sort of specific metas and the top teams that come through. Is it going to be the same ones that we expect, the ST, KS, 69, SWAT, and Nox? We've been fairly close on that. And let's have a look at the total standings right now of all teams.
Yeah, currently after that first Sanhok map, the Real Teal is still standing strong in first place, but creeping up behind them is Executor. That's AXT, only 6 points away with one extra map played. 7T, they really didn't get a whole lot higher off the fact because they placed all right, but we did kind of expect them to get that chicken dinner at the end of the day. So we'll see if they're able to really turn it around. 69 SWAT, they still maintain a position in the top 8, but you can definitely see they've fallen down just a little bit. So those are the teams that are playing out today. Going forward, we'll also see Nox picking up a few extra points and moving into the 10th place position, upending Light Pirates, who won't be playing today. We'll have to see them next week, of course. MEA, the ME Assassins, they pick up a couple for themselves. We didn't talk about this, but they got a third place finish. That was really impressive from MEA, so they do start to move up the ladder here.
Yeah, they've got a lot of work to do, but they could definitely do it if they put their minds to it and actually get that positioning down. And not only the positioning, but also the frags. And then on to the next page, I mean, Rush to Crush, again, a bit disappointing, to be honest.
I mean, they had good placement there this time, though. I think that's the biggest difference, is that they did make it into, like, the final 6. That being said, based on the Vikendi performance, we were hoping to see a lot more from them. Now they will have a chance to start their stuff on Vikendi again, so maybe that's where we'll see them shine.
Yeah, and then we've obviously got 963, which unfortunately just seem to be the bottom feeders here of
they still
most
have
of the
not
games.
Gotten a kill, man. It feels bad, and they're trying. I think these guys have so much heart. They're always going in and saying, you know what, we're always going to face them down. They pull out those ballsy plays, like they do the crazy jump off of the car and try to get the overhead play. I just want to see them get some kills. I want to see them get some placements because it's a team you look at and you want to cheer for. You want to see them do well, but they spray a little bit too wide.
Yeah, they're the underdogs, and we, everyone loves an underdog story, so maybe they could come through. Who knows? Fingers crossed for that. But either way, it's been a couple of interesting games. Next match is going to be on Vikendi.
Yeah, we will have to take a short break before we get there, though. But do not go anywhere. Just after that, we will return with Map 2 of the day. The group stage here, the PUBG Mobile Club Open rolls on.
Royale Pass Season 6 is here. This season's theme is 1 year anniversary of PUBG Mobile with lots of rare items. We've also added lots of more realistic and hardcore items to your Royale Pass rewards. Turn yourself into an elite soldier. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up, so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass.
Ha! Gotcha. Royale Pass. You deserve it.
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on a battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile, be the one.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
Royale Pass Season 6 is here. This season's theme is 1-year anniversary of PUBG Mobile, with lots of rare items. We've also added lots of more realistic and hardcore items to your Royale Pass rewards. Turn yourself into an elite soldier. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up, so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass.
Ha! Gotcha. Royale Pass. You deserve it.
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane,
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, welcome back to the PUBG Mobile Club Open Spring Split. I am still Pyrotechnics, and he is still Tom Pickering, also known as We Free Men.
Hey, yeah, that's me. Don't forget my name and Mr. Devon
I
over
certainly
here.
have it. I certainly, Mr. Devon. No, that's a new one for me.
Oh,
I
I
could
say.
Mr. Devon before. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Interesting, interesting. Good stuff. Well, hey, look, we have one map already on Sanhok. It was an interesting result. I think AXD really showed their mettle when they were playing the defensive game, but we are moving on to Vikendi after this. That is going to be a really interesting one for me, because I want to see if Rush to Crush's performance was not a fluke.
Yeah, and I mean, like, Vikendi is going to be an interesting one to see. I mean,
It always is now, right?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't expect it to sort of perform, well, I didn't anyway, to perform like it has done over the last couple of days. We did see a few teams do really well, and one of those teams was Rush to Crash. And they did really bad on pretty much every other map, and they did okay on Sanhok, and we were discussing this.
I know you were still disappointed too, because I feel like you have expectations. You want to see them bring out that Vikendi performance where they
want to see them rise up.
I mean, they were just breaching and mowing down everybody. Like, it did seem like a different team, and that's what's so surprising is that this Rush to Crush squad has not been able to reproduce that performance. So if they return to Vikendi, maybe the stars align, the planets kind of get up in order. It's like that scene in Hercules where they basically just like all the Titans are going to burst out of the earth and they're just going to win.
Yeah,
until they don't, because no spoilers, but that's not how it ends. I really like that movie.
Yeah, well, no spoilers there. So you're safe, guys. You're safe. I've not seen it.
It was like 1993. How have you not seen that movie? Disney's Hercules? Come on.
I was joking. It was
God, thanks, man. You scared me for a second.
One of my favorite films.
Okay, good. I knew you were a man of taste. Yeah.
Exactly.
You had me questioning it for a second.
Yeah, well, you know what? Talking about the standouts, where can we find them, Devin?
Of course, you can find all that information, including up-to-the-minute stuff on the rosters and the standings of all of our teams, not just for the MEA region, but for all the regions here at the Club Open at clubopen.pubgmobile.com. And in addition, you can also catch all the action on YouTube. Our YouTube channel, of course, is youtube.com/PUBGMOBILE So don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Of course, you don't have to use a frying pan to do it. You can just use your finger.
Or chicken gun. And you forgot one thing. Ding dong that notification bell.
So you don't miss a single minute of the action. We're getting really good at that, man. I like that back and forth.
Yeah, no, you got to do it.
It's good. Hey. There's some energy going right now. I can feel the flow.
They're getting up there. And hopefully for these teams as well, we mentioned Rush to Crush, but there's got a couple other ones as well. KA versus S7T.
Yeah, KA, I thought they were going out super early, but Chassoir basically just got himself into a nice little hidey hole. The brush, he was literally just up against the blue zone. I think you called him a brush gremlin at one point.
I called him a bush rookie.
That is even better. But he did a really good job of actually staying hidden, got his team into, I'm actually just going to double check my notes here. He got his team into 5th place, and they were basically out in 10th. So when you can do that, when you have a player that can clutch on a defensive strategy, you don't need to get any kills. Yeah. All you need to do is just be completely undetected, let everyone else kill everyone. Survival is the key, especially in a tournament like this where placement has so much more bearing.
I mean, yeah, first place is 30 points, and then it sort of goes down to 22, and then so on and so forth. So every position counts. So sure, kills are fantastic if you get 10 plus, like 10 to 20. That's when they start to make the real difference. Obviously, every kill does make a difference in the end, but for the most part, if you have the choice between going for positioning or 10 kills, go for positioning.
Yeah. So now we've seen like the teams that we thought to perform that did step up to the plate, and a couple that you were hoping to see a little bit more from. But what other teams are you really looking to see step up here in the second game on Vikendi?
I think we have to go with Rush to Crash. I'm
doubling down, huh?
Yeah, I'm doubling it down. I want to see them do good on this map. They did it yesterday. Hoping they do it today.
I've got another one for you, though.
I think Nox will do fantastic. But
yeah, well, how about 69 SWAT? Because, they had that a little bit of an unfortunate disconnect going on for them. They haven't played on this map because they didn't load in on their first one. So this will be the first time we see 69 SWAT on Vikendi, and the plane is overhead. It's coming in from the northwest, or northeast, rather. I got my compass all backwards. Don't let me drop on the island. I get us lost.
Oh, yeah, and it's going right down to the southwest there.
See, I got you tongue-tied yourself. But you caught it yourself in the end.
Yeah,
let's take a look at where everyone drops. That'll be the interesting thing.
Yeah, so we do have a couple of teams heading over towards Treveno. It seems like MEA are going to back off and go over towards Cosmo, but they may well have a team coming up next to them as well, 963. But if it's going to be any team that comes over to your area, you probably want it to be them. And then we have Rush to Crush, who are trying to head on over towards the Villa, but looks like they might be contested with that part as well. 70 are going to go down to something over there, which is a decent place to loot. It's quite big. And look at that circle.
Man, that is such a water circle, and there's only like 4 or 5 teams inside of it right now. I just once want a Dino Park circle. Is that too much to ask?
Jurassic Park level circles would be
brilliant.
Great,
man. Raptor fences are down.
Oh no! And then Rush to Crush come in. Boom. Easy peasy.
To be fair, like if there's any team that is kind of like a Raptor, it's them.
Yeah, they just make me think of that. But what I'm going to bring up is the fact that all these teams notably forgetting to pick up vehicles when they first land, and that's like with MEA. Instead of going in for the vehicles, they went for the drop and just went for the loot. And then when it came to the circle shift over to military on Erangel yesterday, they were pretty much lost, and they weren't able to do anything, and that's why they ended up dying to the blue. And that, I think, may be a similar issue today in this one as well. But there is a longer rotation time here for this game for these guys on Vikendi, so they may well be able to find some couple of vehicles when they go running, but it's not as optimal.
That's true. Looks like we might be in for a couple of early firefights as some of the teams clustered into a few of the compounds. Looks like SB here up against SMP, starting things off, and SB, a team that definitely had a much better set of firefights. One of them was against a man-down 69 SWAT. SMP, unfortunately, they pretty much lost out to 70 very late in that game in the first enemy they encountered. But the looting has only just begun. Teams really only rocking, you know, Team P, Uzis, that kind of thing. Really only good if you're just in these real small corridors.
Yeah, I mean, it can still be really useful at distance, as we've seen some of these guys do.
That's true, actually. That we kind of against all of the logic, they have actually had effective usage of complete spray tactics on SMGs.
Yeah, I mean, at distance, no, it's not. I was definitely memeing a little bit too hard there, but I mean,
at short distance.
At short distances, it has actually proven very fruitful, especially on Vikendi. On the other maps, we don't tend to see it too often. It's a little bit more restricted use. They tend to use the ARs and DMRs on this map. We did actually see a lot more DMRs and snipers yesterday, because that was actually LTK who managed, on this very similar circle, managed to get into a position of height and shot down to players with their Kar 98s. So it'll be interesting to see if any teams land in that kind of positional advantage again, like AXD did in the previous game.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. A couple of teams that did place fortunately inside the circle. Keeping an eye on them as it goes. I want to see where Rush to Crush end up going because, as you mentioned, they are definitely going to be the team to watch for Vikendi specifically. They had such an amazing performance on it. We haven't seen them on it since, and now they return to where they were the most dominant on day one here of the group stage at the PUBG Mobile Club Open. There's just so much more left to play, man. Like, this is only the first week of the group stages. We're going to have a whole nother week after this where teams that haven't played each other will finally go up against one another, and then after that, it gets trimmed down to 24 squads.
Yeah, and it starts to get even more interesting. The teams are going to be a little bit tighter and a little bit more compact. So they're going to have to do a lot of work. And one of the teams that are going to have to do a bit of work here, but not too much, to get to the top is going to be 7T. They were so close to catching up with the TRD. Probably our favorites, one of our favorites here. And even the fact that they've got an extra game over TRD are still in the lead, which is just insane.
Yeah, and I think that's the bummer right there for 70, right? They would have hoped to be able to leapfrog them off of game one, and now it's kind of like TRD are playing with a game in hand, effectively.
Yeah, exactly. They have got that lead advantage where they can actually go into their games next week with the heads held high where, well, you know what? As long as we just perform consistently, we've got this. And I think they're smart enough to be able to recognize that, and it would be really interesting to hear from them if they are listening back to this VOD to actually have a chat with us and let us know what you do before these games, what your sort of kind of preparations are when you look at these games. Are you going over the VODs?
Actually, open call it for all the teams, too. You know,
all of them.
That'd be really cool to know a lot more of because we definitely don't know as much about these teams and their backstories as of just yet. So hopefully that kind of, you know, we'll learn more about it. We also are seeing their tactics in real time, so there's definitely that being built out. I should mention, there are 14 teams loaded in. We had a lot less last time. One of them, I believe KS actually didn't load into the first game, which is actually kind of a big shocker because they were a team currently sitting in the 6th place as of the last game. Kurd squad, and, you know, they're back into this one. We just caught sight of them a little bit ago. So, you know, back on Vikendi.
Yeah, I mean, Vikendi is going to be an interesting one, but they're once again just grouping up in one building, and unless they're inside the circle and just praying that the circle lands on them, which they kind of did in the Sanhok game, they have to be careful because we want to see them do the breaches, but they've not really had the chance to do that because they didn't really land with anyone. But we did see SB and SMP or Snap land next to each other, but
Snap has backed away.
Yeah, they've decided just to back away from this fight. They're not wanting to have to contend for
I wouldn't either after what happened last match up against 7T. Speaking of them, we'll be taking a look at where they've occupied. A little bit of a split loot going on here in some of these ruined houses.
Yeah, and I do appreciate these teams who are going in for the more split because that's the more sort of professional way to be able to play here so you don't get clumped together, and if you do get rushed by one team, that you're not going to get screwed over, although that has got on its flip side that you're not able to then defend each other. But it means that you then have that knowledge as to what is going on, and you should be able to try and preempt those teams coming up on you. But we do see a lot of teams get crept up upon because they're not actually taking positional good positions.
Yeah, they're not covering their 6s or their 12s in some cases, and that's kind of the difficulty. Is if you don't see anyone coming, well, how can you take them down? So you know, we'll only really see the teams that are the best at doing that really survive. VW, meanwhile, they are trying to creep up here over on, I believe that's TUB's team that doesn't have the tag.
Yeah, we have got 69 squad here going up against VW as well. VW could
69 squad, that's right.
Yeah, I mean it's Mr. Smegman here going to be going up, but also VW's Player Mahan may well be able to get up fairly close. I think they are fully aware of them, though.
Mustafa and Toom waiting on the back. No fire exchange just yet. Here early on in this game. Ooh, MEA hold up in this compound, and you could see that KA actually getting lit up here. Falastine was able to get one knocked out of the car.
That was pretty good, and he's going to be able to get the finish on him as well. That's going to be so painful for KA to try and recover from this.
Now, they've been in that situation before. Shaswar actually going driving away. He'll circle back round as his teammates have already popped out. That's Las and Haji. Let's see what they can actually get done here. As it's going to be a long-range fight if they wanted to take it. But no, they decide, pack it up, let's get in the car, and just get the heck out of Dodge.
Getting out of Dodge would be the best idea, but now we can
actually
see
going to get dropped. That's AXT. Nox going to get in the mix as well. So a couple of fights happening as Galiko gets headshotted and downed. Pullat and Rodel coming up clutch right now for the AXT members as they're engaged in a fight with Rush to Crush.
And Rush to Crush looking like they are going to be crushed in the moment. There you go.
Yep, I mean, literally in the moment, you said it. They were crushed down. So AXT just looking oh so good. Once again, they picked themselves up a nice clean wipe of frags. And the question has been answered. Are Rush to Crush the real deal? Apparently not.
I'm so disappointed in that. But you know what? I'll give them room to breathe, and we can move on to another team. One of the teams that's still alive right now, 70, are still going to be rotating along with most of the other teams as well, because still, I think, not even the majority of teams are inside the circle.
No, everyone's going to be running for it right now. You can see S&P are actually quite far away, as well as 7T, who are way down there by Hot Springs right now. They're going to have to be going all the way up that road. But teams like KA, MEA, AXT, they're all in a great spot for themselves. I wonder if we get another Cosmo finish, because we had one of those, I believe, yesterday.
Yeah, well, it was actually right next to Cosmo, because we wanted it to be in Cosmo, but it actually landed on the frozen river.
Oh, that's right. It was just over there. And that was where we had that big drop-down positioning play, right?
Yeah, we had LTK at the top with the Kar-98s and the rifles taking shots, and it's actually going to be 69 squad almost getting run over there by VW. And VW were looking for them for quite a long time, but it seems like neither one of the teams were able to find each other. And VW making the mistake, in my opinion, of driving in one car. I prefer to just use two people and then run with two others so you don't get blown up and lose placement.
Yeah, it does seem like some of these teams, their strategy is a little bit rougher around the edges, especially the likes of VW that we've seen be okay at firefights, not like anything to write home about. But they're holding their own against some of the weaker teams. The problem is every time they get into one of those situations where there's a superior opponent across them, rather than take the fight, they run away in those groups, and that puts them at that disadvantage where they can't just get blown to high heavens in a single vehicle. They will back out, though, into a safe position.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be right next to SB, but to be honest, I don't think they're really too much of a danger to VW. I think VW have actually won more firefights than SB have, potentially. But SB have actually heard their vehicle, and they're going to be going in for the peak here from behind these barrels. Mr. Adair Malka, should be able to get a spot on them. And I do actually appreciate SB's sort of position in here. They've got it spread out, and now VW are looking to push up.
Yeah, the question is, do they know where the remaining members of SB are? And scoped up, he's going to wait on the shots, take the third one, and he does manage to get one knocked, make that two. VW losing two already, and it's looking like they're going to start backing away. Did make it into the compound, though, so Muhammad does manage to get himself back up, but unfortunately, pre-fire through the wall, he's able to take him pretty low already, so Adir Malak is going to be going up. VW in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for them to be able to recover from this. The flames are going to be coming in, and the pushes as well from this team SB.
I think VW know their days are numbered right now. They're going to try to stop the breach from coming through here, and there's one down. Looks like he's going to take one with him, but it doesn't really matter. VW get wiped off the map in 13th place.
That is not what we want to be seeing. I called them SB out for not being able to be as confident or competent rather in battles, and it seems like they absolutely just demolished them. But you know what, we do actually have an opposition here. It's going to be 69 SWAT, who are a very competent team. Might well be able to wipe them off the face of the earth here, but we will see. Circle is going to be closing in. Is it going to be the same as yesterday? We don't know.
It's still a lot of water. I mean, this is going to get really hectic really fast if the way this continues. All right, 69 SWAT, hold up. They do have eyes on S&P, at least a couple of members, but there's a lot of third parties coming in here. It looks like Falstein managed to get a knock for himself, so MEA's still hot and heavy in this fight.
Yeah, it's nice to see a decent amount of action here between these teams. 69 SWAT trying to find these shots, but it seems like we're actually going to be switching on over to, is this 963?
Yeah, it's Cosmo. Yeah, 963 are, they're doing a little bit better this time because they haven't really encountered anybody. As I say it, there's a down, Hamoud. Down to Falstein, so this is the MEA fight that's going down here on the north side of Cosmo.
Yeah, you would hope 963 do a little bit better there, but we'll return to them momentarily.
SB pushing up into 69 SWAT.
Yeah, they are But oh, there we go. We're actually going to be seeing MEA now between these two guys.
All right. Oh, he's trying to get the sights on there. Wasi actually gets dropped by S1683. That is actually pretty huge, and Mustafa ends up getting dropped in the play zone. That was outside of that one, though. So 963 having one of their better showings. You know, we talk about them being the underdogs because they just have been able to get almost no frags at all in this entire tournament. But they always choose to take the fight. They always opt into it. And you got to love a team that has that level of tenacity to stay in the thick of it. Yeah, I mean, maybe not the best advised plays, but here we go. There's a breach coming in.
That was actually a really good grenade from 963, so it's not quite a breach, but the nade was actually really good. I mean, I thought it was going to be as well.
Yeah, I thought they were going to run through it instead. No, you're right. They do have them on low health bars, though.
Yeah.
Guns and Falstein's nearly knocked. So if there's ever a time for 963 to start to shine, it could be now.
Yeah, I mean, if they were quite clever, well, if they were clever, they would actually start on a rotation on at least one of their players, so they can get that sort of positional sort of advantage when they do get those grenades in, and he can cause a distraction. But we'll see. And 963 are very much like overeager young puppy in the games. It seems to just
you ring the doorbell, they're going to run up. There's just going to be like lots of barking, and well, you see what happens.
Yeah, but yeah, not so good sort of a performance so far. But as I say that, they do knock another member, and look,
yeah,
the
this
breach
time
is
they're
coming
playing
in.
a little bit more like hunting hounds.
Here
Let's see if they can get this done onto MEA, who are in a big spot of bother. Mohamed said going up for the knockdown onto Assad here. MEA having some trouble. So Wasi might be able to get him back up off his feet, but he's got to be careful as there comes the breach in here. Wasi finding himself outnumbered. He does manage to get a knockdown, but what a great play by 963.
They finally got their kills, their first 4 kills of the whole tournament so far. This is so good. Finally, they're able to get some kills, and it's all 4 members of MEA dominating them, actually, in that performance. I'm really happy with them.
Yeah, I mean, this is great right now, and we don't see a ton of Vikendi matches, so if they do have a bit of a specialty here, it's a little bit rough because we won't see as many more of those maps, but still, in this performance right now, that has got to be a big confidence booster after going killless over 2 days of play.
Oh, that wasn't actually 963.
Ah, wow. Did we just debate ourselves?
Yeah, we did. I think it was me. I think I misled us.
No, it's all right. No, 963.
It's they're similar color.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is they're off to the right. Okay, well, never mind. That story's out the window. Forget the last 5 minutes. You heard nothing.
We're so happy for them.
Yeah.
Well,
that explains why they were playing so much better.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's a little bit unfortunate because they may well be going up against 69 SWAT, which they have been wiped by both.
Yeah, that's not looking great for them. Lashin's in this one, by the way, so no longer disconnected. The rest of the teams are also coming up hot as well. You can see Nox there on the outside, and the circle continues to stay above the water. Oh, boy.
Well, water is going to be an issue potentially coming further into this, but it really depends on this next shift because after this one closes, the following circle should be quite a tight shift down, or maybe even the preceding one there, but 69 squad's still going to be fairly safe, not too far away from the circle, so they can run in when we do get to have a look at it. AXT still having a jolly good time here in these buildings, and they've actually separated around. This is what I was talking about before against a couple of these teams. They're positioning too close to each other, and they weren't able to really achieve too much. And look at that Orm. Hello.
Ooh, there's going to be that drop down, AWM. So let's see if they can go for it. So this is actually a team TUB, and the problem is they don't have consistent tags, so that's a little bit difficult to read them sometimes. Yeah. Here's Team KA, though, and they're going to be engaged. Looks like what could be a standoff up against 7T. Now, we know how that ended last time for KA, and they've already lost a member. Remember, way early on in this fight, but they've been holding up since.
Yeah, and so Nox have actually lost 2 of their members, and this is actually very familiar to what happened to them before. They lost 2 members, breached the house, and actually managed to get a really decent position. So let's see if they're able to do it again. But they are in a very strange situation. They're just sitting inside a car right now on top of a hill rather than moving around or going inside a building. So it's a bit questionable, but we're going to switch back on over towards 7T.
Yeah, there you go. And this is a decent little split here. It's a 3-1. Control is going to be taking the right side, whereas Reef Fazah and Maradi are going to be over on the left. Taking a look at TUB as well. They pretty much got this part of Cosmo all to themselves. I don't know how much longer that's going to last, though. A lot of teams coming in. Here's SB on the outskirts.
Yeah, it's far enough away. And also that package, just to reiterate, it was actually right next to Cosmo and almost center the circle or just below it. So that care package may get picked up. And oh, there we go.
There's 963. They have stayed alive through all of this, but they played very very calmly. They've just been sitting at home having a cup of tea, relaxing.
Yeah, they are very passive right now in this building. And they are inside inside the circle, so they should be fairly safe for a little while longer. So they are going to be going in for that position.
They do have 2 kills, actually, so they have picked up a couple of them. Ooh. It looked like it happened a little earlier off the screen, but we will be keeping an eye on it. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Maybe we'll get them in the highlight reel.
Hopefully so, yeah. So Thanos is still alive with his team at the moment. the Snap team.
And that's another team that has real trouble executing in a straight-up firefight. They need to get into a position where they can defend.
Yeah, I really actually appreciate that name of it being his name being Thanos, and he's obviously the team leader because he named the team Snap. So gotta appreciate that.
Yeah, or at the very least, they thought it was a nice little connection to make it work out.
Oh, 963. This is not going to be a good day for you because you're going to have the Wolf knocking at the door very soon.
2 teams approaching right now. This is rough for 963. Let's see if they can hold out here. You can see Escobar has got his sights set up, but the rest of this squad is going to be on top of him.
And this is the care package I was talking about, so it's going to be Tub, if I'm right in saying.
Yeah.
Going to be able to pick up full level 3 and the AWM with a silencer on it.
So it's IQM is the team that's approaching here in the orange over on 963's side. And you can see 69 SWAT are actually coming up the road as well. So we could be in for a whole lot of third-party action, as this is just on the border of the safe zone. Blues continually closing in here.
Wolf is pretty much like the big bad wolf there, and 963 are like sort of the piglets inside one of the houses, and he's huffing and he's puffing.
Well, hopefully those are made out of concrete and not so much hay that can get blown over pretty easily. Let's see where the next circle ends up forming. We've got more on the water as we tap back over to AXT.
Yeah, we don't actually quite get to see the circle. It would be nice to switch back on over, Mr. Spectator Man, please. But hopefully we'll see that momentarily. But nonetheless, we're going to be seeing Nox, who've only got 2 members left alive, just sitting down here inside this building, camping away. And we can obviously see that 963 is still just camping away in that building.
There's
outside
a lot of players
circle.
alive right now for it being 18.5 minutes here, Tom. 40 players in this game.
Well, you know what? It's just going to make it a tasty ending.
You're not wrong about that. There's going to be a lot of fights for that chicken dinner. SMP here looks like they're going to be going on a road trip. But as you pointed out, this is something not all of the teams in the lower levels of play do, but SMP are one of them, getting into multiple vehicles and going off down the road, making sure they can split the difference if one of them gets shot at.
Yeah, and I think it really comes down to those who sort of played PUBG on the PC, who are sort of originally sort of normalized with the sort of general tactics with how you play, that you don't get caught off guard with all your players in one car, because that just ends up in being usually pretty bad for them.
Ooh, there's the first shot. 69 SWAT finding Mustafa. Teams are kind of bound to run into one another at this point, so Wolf and the rest of his squad here, IQM, they're having a little bit of trouble. In fact, they weren't really keen on actually going for a breach. They're just trying to go and wrap around and get into the safety of the zone while the circle starts to close in.
Indeed. And 69 squad, SWAT rather.
Ooh, firing into the blinks. It's Wolf. He doesn't move a muscle, and look at this. Tomb has actually gone swimming up in the north side here just to try to avoid detection by going as far out as he dares.
It seems like it has actually worked out for him, and he's now going to be hopping through the water as he tries to get back onto dry land here. We do have SB coming up on the other side of 963, who are going to be in a really damning position, unfortunately, for them.
There's another care package down here, but nobody's really keen on it right now. KS kind of staring down up against KA. Still 40 players alive in this game. What is going on? I can't last for much longer. There we go. It's going to be one starting to get dropped down. That's Wolf taken out by MBJ of 69 SWAT. Seems like a matter of time before the SWAT team shows up.
Yeah, and I mean, these two teams are going to end up fighting against each other right now, the KA and KS teams. Shashwa, the guy who managed to get his team to 5th place last game.
Good survival instinct on the KA side for sure. They know what they're doing.
And this circle is going to be shifting down south onto the mainland, probably on Cosmo's side.
There it is.
There you go. So this is actually going to be a very familiar ending as we saw yesterday. So we'll end up seeing where it does go. But 963 going to be in a bit of a firefight here.
Yeah, it's going to get started right now. 963 actually going to manage to get one down, but unfortunately they get returned in kind by the SB members. 963 trying to hold on to this house. It's tough, and a good split here from SB. Even as the down member, Azrael, he's going to be able to keep it up. Grenade's going to come in here.
Yeah, they are actually going to be trying to chuck in a couple of smokes, which will allow
They get a knock.
They do get that knock.
And here we go. They're actually going to go all in unison right now. It looks like one will stop just short. Abood is going to get taken down in this, knocked onto his knees, and the breach is fully on. 963 desperately trying to get to high ground here, but they are in a whole lot of trouble, and that should clean them off the map in just a moment here.
And they are going to be going in for the finishes here. There's only going to be 2 members left on 963's team. And it doesn't seem like their opposition know where they are. Oh,
Drop down.
I say that.
Ori, he knows, and he didn't get hit. Not too much anyways. So now they can go in with the full force. But look at Tomb actually sneaking around. In fact, they don't have to go in because the Blue's encroaching. So Ori and the rest of SB can just run it out.
Yeah, so they're just going to be holding them out here. There's no reason for them to play aggressive. to be honest, especially on the couple of players who have no HP. So they're just going to be pushing in. Lorenz is going to die. 963 still going to be staying alive, but not for very long.
Yeah, he's going to run out, just try and see if he can get another frag or two, but it does look like he is going to go down sooner rather than later. He's just still standing there trying to get those bandages on in time, but he knows he's done.
Yeah, no, he's down, but he also screwed over one of the players of SB. He managed to shoot him in the back, forcing him to go down and ending his life. So he will go down, die, and give them an extra point, if I'm right in saying. So they're going to end up with 3 kills, which is
more than they've gotten so far.
Yeah, I mean,
another firefight coming in here. Looks like it's Haji and Lass in a lot of trouble right now for 17 coming in. That is not the team you want to be facing down in a firefight right now. There are 2 knocks, though, onto them, so there's still a chance. Reef coming in, looking for the finishing kills. He steps back out.
They need to get the grenades in there. They need to go in for the breach.
Ooh, Lass had a first aid kit. He gets himself nice and healthy for the time being, but he looks to go in, tries to find Reef, who's just stutter-stepping all over the place, and Haji can't get picked back up. Not too easily in here, but Reef goes in, and unfortunately for Lass, even though he got the down, there was a teammate there, 17. Now KS, not going to waste any time.
That was really good for them, fair play. But unfortunately, KS are going to be pushing in, and it's potentially just going to be the downfall because there's not enough players here up and ready to go.
Oh, 6 seconds. Ebo coming in, leading the charge. Will they take the timer? They don't know. That 7T still have a couple of down members trying to get back up. The Molotov is primed and ready, and this could be a huge amount of trouble right now as they step up. And that is going to be a lot of damage. It looks like they are going to get dropped down. That's Morai. Unfortunately for him, he steps too far into the flames, and everybody wants a piece of 7T here.
Yeah, some easy kills there, but it was a little bit unfortunate for them because they were playing very well. We are going to be seeing now SB versus the likes of SWAT. 69 SWAT, indeed.
Yeah, lash in. They're just throwing Molotovs all over the place. Looks like left and right now. And SB are kind of playing with their backs against the blue. So 69 SWAT kind of maintaining a better position right now. But the blue isn't moving, so there's still a chance for them to hang on. 26 players alive. We just had our number nearly shaved by half in the last couple of minutes, and that's what will happen when you have damn near the final circle. Mustafa going in. He steps right into the face of a grenade right now, and he does manage to get it down onto one of the SB members, but he's burning away. He needs to get himself a first aid kit.
But that's all fine. They have got the time because that's actually a complete wipe, if I'm right in saying. So that was really well played from them. Nox going to be in a bit of a bad situation here. I think against Snap, Morsey, it was very low, is going to be able to heal up, and we're going to be seeing Ben going in for the rotation. He doesn't want to go in for these kills, but unfortunately he's going to be heading into KS, if I'm right in saying. Actually, no, it was just SMP. KS was almost heading to them. Yeah,
look at that. Still an IQM member remaining. It's Wolf, who's just managed to stay alive this entire time. Ebo going to be leading the rest of his KS team over into AXT. Remember, they won the last chicken dinner here. Evo lets one out the car. They're going to try and stagger about, and it looks like we will be in for a massive melee firefight across the board. Kraken gets knocked down by one of the SMP members to kick things off and finished as well. So look at all those team tags. We have so many coming into this final one, and the gunfire's coming in hot.
It's going to be a lot of firefight here. There's still 22 people left alive, 7 teams, and they're going to be spread very...
It was Tomb, not Wolf, excuse me. Oh, he might be moving in on Ben and Morsey. Should be able to pincer him pretty effectively. But we'll look back at that in a minute because Sheriff Thanos and the rest of Snap are going to be coming in to try and make a play here on the KS and AXT. They've got to keep their intervals covered. A little bit of blind fire there for Sheriff.
Yeah, and that was the AK that did the original damage, and the G36C that's going to be able to finish him off, and it looks like Snap are going to come out ahead of this.
Yeah, they do, but Morsey turns it around, and Mustafa as well. So 69 SWAT finding themselves pincered at this moment. And Narcos, he's trying to make it happen here. Morsey doesn't get the final shot, unfortunately, and he gets outplayed.
That was really lucky for Narcos there.
That's knocks out.
69 SWAT, yeah, no, really close. In 7th position, so it's not too bad, but it's not the best. In KS, I think only have 2 members left.
Look at SMP. They have everybody alive. This is one of their best games so far, and they're actually winning firefights. So impressive right now. Let's see what else they can get done. We're also keeping an eye on TUB. Still involved in this one. Haven't seen a whole lot of this team before, actually. I believe in one of their previous games, they went out really early on. Let's see what the rest of the 69 SWAT members can do, though. Still 3 of them alive.
Let's see who ends up happening here. 69 SWAT, rather, have been doing very well. This game managed to survive and get a couple of kills. Nox, they've only got 1 kill and they're out, which is a bit unfortunate. AXT still got all their members left alive. 4 kills themselves. And KS is going to be another one as they burn him alive. But
that's unfortunate. Clown, he had that primed and ready, but he stands way too long inside the flames, even as his teammate was doing some serious work. Has to get cover behind the trees. AXT still well and in this, but they do take out one of the members of KS, as you mentioned.
I'm not quite sure how these guys managed to do this, but every game I think we see one or two sort of self-nades or Molotovs. Actually, I think that's the first self-Molotov we've seen.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that is the first self-Molotov. That was a bit of a whoopsie, but even the best teams can have some of those misfires for now. But we still have 6 teams with 17 players alive. Remember, one of them is Tomb, the only remaining player from IQM. Kind of ironic that that name is the one that's still alive.
Indeed. I mean, we've not really seen him do too much before. And look at the
Clown. He's not play.
He's not joking around this time.
Nope. He did have a little bit of fun earlier on with that Molotov on himself, but he did manage to get the plays when it counted. Plot is knocked, but the rest of the team still pretty healthy here. KS down to 1 member.
Yeah, KS could really do really well here. They did it before.
And make that none. SMP sneaking in for the finisher now, so we're down to 5.
I thought they were going to be able to make it to the 5th position like they did before, but unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. And now AXT look at the start and dominate again.
Yeah, Demon's going to get his teammate up, so that was Palat, who's already on his hands and knees. The ones that had been not playing previously for AXT, but has really stepped it up with the team today. Still, a lot of firefights going through, and now SMP are looking to challenge AXT next. Sheriff manages to find his way into this one house. On the opposite side is AXT, though, standing strong. 69 SWAT as well across the road. 3-way fight, while Tomb's still watching it all go down. Keeping on Thanos vision for now.
We still have one player on Team 3 out in the middle of nowhere at the moment, and they're going to have to rush in from the Tomb.
Oh, Palat's going to get dropped down. Looks like he will be taken out in this one, so that's at least 1 knock. They will get the finishing blow here, and AXT did try to push a little bit far forward as the rest of TUB are still here. Looks like Mohamed Sad's getting taken out by Thanos, though. That's the knock. Brodel getting finished off here by another member of SMP. They're just stacking kills today.
Yeah, XT have really impressed me so far this game. I thought in their first game it was pretty much going to be down to a lot of luck, but they have proven themselves there. Tomb's going to be on low HP, but
Seif, he's knocked. It's one of the TUB members. In fact, he also gets another knock onto one of the SMP members. 2 are already down here. Narcos is going to get put onto his hands and knees as well by Clown, and Lashin is going to do the same to him.
Now AXT are going to have to take time to recover from this. Snap aren't going to be going in for the push. They're going to have to recover. TUB as well are probably not want to play too aggressive, although they do need to get inside the circle, so we may well see them push over towards Snap.
2 members strong. Seif, he gets finished off. That's a start here for TUB. MBJ, he's going to get another knock, though, himself. 3 remaining members for TUB, and they might be able to sneak one out here because they're the only ones not really playing on this roadside. But they still have a lot of position to work with. A lot of trees to hide in. This circle has actually been quite friendly to them.
Yeah, so we are going to be seeing TUB being able to pick each other up. And they have got the AWM, but it's going to be a little bit close for them to really be doing too much. He does spot out the player.
He's just trying to pre-fire onto Seif, but he's not poking.
It's going to be a little bit dangerous going for that front, but they're still on the very edge here, so they need to gain more ground.
Man, this is so tense with 5 teams still up in this game. Approaching an even smaller circle here. Tomb, unfortunately, it looks like this is going to be the end of him unless he can step further forward. Can't believe he's managed to stay alive here for IQM, but he goes in blind firing, and he manages to get it down. That's actually going to be really good here for all these teams that were under heavy fire.
Oh, and he's going to slay another one.
I can't believe it.
This is incredible. He may well be able to screw 2 teams over. I mean, Snap and Tub are now going at it.
But Demon gets Narcos here, and Thanos gets taken down by Mohamed Said. That's going to be the headshot, who gets put on his hands and knees as well, so SMP still in this one. Let's see if they can make the job. Thanos and Seif already down, and he manages to get himself another knock and puts him under its Tomb, getting another kill, still alive, down to 3 members, down to 3 teams, I should say, and now Sheriff is taken out of this one. Tomb is an absolute madman, he's clutching it.
What is going on? He's now going to be able to cross back on over. He's going back and forth here and dominating. What a fantastic performance coming out this solo player, as it seems like there's going to be last 2 players. It's going to be a 2v2v1 here, and Tomb has the outside advantage and also closest to the center of the circle.
If Tomb clutches this for the chicken dinner, that is insane right now. It is up to AXT and 69 SWAT, the team that performed really well in that last one, taking the chicken dinner, and the team that we expected to be one of our top teams in this final 3. But joining them is IQM's Tomb.
Absolutely insane there. You can't... I don't know what to say about that, because Tomb just played it really well. He got across, saw a player, downed him, moved a bit further, downed another player from Snap, moved behind a tree, and then down 2. I mean... He's
only got 1 actual kill for himself, too, so he's really just getting lots and lots of downs. But he's working his way up for the team's... like solid positioning, and considering how defensively they were playing before, it didn't quite work out well for them.
Yeah, I mean, considering the rest of his team actually died out back in, I think, 9th position, so he's actually gained 6 position points at, like on leaderboard.
And
actually,
just running
minimum.
from tree to tree. That's the crazy thing. Now Lashini actually gets down by the Molotov here. So all of a sudden, 69 SWAT are in a lot of trouble. MBJ is in the blue, and he's not going to have a whole lot of time to revive. If Tomb senses this might be a good chance to actually solo breach, he might go through for it. But he's waiting on the outside because he has the position. He can do it.
He's definitely got the position on these guys, and now the face-off is going to come out.
AXT
between
are going to
these
win that
teams.
one pretty handily right now. And Tomb, he's going to go for it, trying to get a little bit more plays. There's a knockdown, and he finally falls. AXT take first, but can you believe it? Tomb with a sneaky second for IQM.
Yeah, and he gets 4 kills just for himself, and I think 3 of them were right at the end there, if I'm right in saying.
I think you're right.
So that was actually really well played by them. I have to give them mad props, and if you have a look at 69 SWAT, they do manage to get that 3rd position with a total of 7 kills, which is pretty decent. I'll give them that. And then for first place, we are going to be seeing AXT, who do manage to get a decent amount of kills, 9 in total. No real sort of...
And another chicken dinner.
Yeah, chicken dinner, which equals 30 points plus the 9. So 39 points. It's actually... It's pretty good. It's going to jump
are
them
going to
up.
pull out very far
Yeah.
in front right now, and I think we haven't really seen consistency in the first couple of days. There were teams kind of rising and falling, depending on the map, but AXT have now proved on both Sanhok and Vikendi that they are incredibly strong. The first time, the circle favored them. So you could always write that off as, okay, you know, maybe they wouldn't have gotten first place. They would have gotten like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, perhaps, but they did it again, this time without the circle. So honestly, AXT are stepping up huge today.
Yeah, and I mean, the main difference is actually in players. They don't have Lord. They have someone else who may well have actually been the IGL. They could have gone in a little bit blind, but let's have a look at the highlights here.
All right, well, this one started off. We see MEA actually getting a first couple of shots. And KA, once again, they got into this troublesome position where they just lost a few members early. AXT found Rush to Crush, and they completely ran them over.
Yeah, that was just so destructive of AXT. They were not taking any...
We can't even show it. It's just, it's honestly, it's too graphic, ladies and gentlemen. We just can't show it. SB, they found a lot of damage here onto the VW members as they were trying to move up here, and that was pretty much the end of it, as it was just this final push into the building. Shahif, he was kind of going in on point. He gets knocked, but it doesn't matter. There's way too many guns ablazing here for VW to really stand strong, and they lose all their lives. Meanwhile, TUB doing the same thing to MEA here in this house, and it was a really solid breach from them. There was a lot of back-and-forth fights going on, but in the end, TUB were the ones that cleaned it up.
Yeah, it was really well played by them, and then we're going to be seeing a push from SB, who do knock out one of the players in the window. That's going to be Loranz.
This was still the best performance we've seen from 963, though.
Oh,
so give them some credit here. It's unfortunately just not enough to take down the SB members who take them out. Escobar, he does manage to screw over one of the SB members, as you said, before he ends up falling, trying desperately to bandage himself. K-Hay gets some of the 17 members down, but not nearly enough as the breach goes through. And then SMP, this is an aggressive play for a team that has played so defensively in the past. They breach in, and of course, this is actually KS that come through here, and they get everybody from 70 down thanks to that clutch Molotov.
Yeah, but these Molotovs are coming in clutch for a lot of these teams, and Snap, definitely one of the highest performing teams so far this game.
Hey, they got that 4th place for a reason right now, and here were a couple more of those fights. We saw Clown, he self-mollied himself, he self-Molotoved himself, but then he actually was able to get Ebo down with a Molotov that was true to aim this time around. And it just kind of kept going from here. You could see TUB, really no match for some of those members, but the rest of the team started to converge into this final position.
Yeah, and so it's going to be coming up onto AXT, but Tomb's fantastic play here. Just look at it. He's running guns. He's just down one from TUB, beautiful. Pushes to another tree, spots one through the window, down Sarif, and now he's going to be crossing the road uncontended completely. And now we're going to be back on over to the TUB, potentially getting wiped out, I think, by Snap.
Yeah, this was Tomb just once again waiting, biding his time. He finds the Snap members and actually takes them out. One of them ends up falling to the environment, but that was the first kill that his team had actually picked up. And I think this is where he gets the 4. So Tomb gets Lashin down onto his knees, but the circle starts closing in, and all of a sudden it's chaos in the smoke. AXT coming out ahead and wondering where the heck the last guy is. Tomb managing to find, I think, at least one there. No, he doesn't quite get it. The match ends. So he could have picked up a couple more kills, but he still got 22 just on placement alone, and then 4 more points for the kills for his team. I think if you're IQM, you are very happy with Tomb's performance.
Yeah, I'd be really happy. I mean, he managed to take down those 3 players as he was moving, and then that ace Molotov into that window, or door frame rather, was fantastic. Unfortunately, he did pick the wrong side of the wall to go on, which did screw him over. And yeah, Tomb.
He was actually he was actually the kill leader along with our other member of SMP there. So good job for him. And as pointed out, AXT's Palat, the player that we didn't actually see on day number 1, comes in clutch with 3 kills here on Vikendi. And then, of course, SB also has solid performance in the form of Ori. Clown also picks up a couple for himself. And then 69 SWAT have Lashin and MBJ and Mustafa all in there with 2 apiece.
Yeah, we didn't actually see any teams get a double-figure kill count in total, which was a bit of an interesting one there.
No, but 2 chicken dinners for AXT, so there is that level of consistency.
Yeah,
Interesting
that's
that this is such a different day so far. I wonder, though, if it isn't just some of the chaos of the maps, right? Because we have had 2 very small maps to contend with. There's no Miramar today. We'll be doing double Erangel to close out the second half. And I really want to see how the teams adapt onto that map, which is more of a mainstay of traditional PUBG.
Yeah, and I mean, if AXT can actually stay true to heart and get through to it. So we're actually going to have a look at IKM versus SB here on the sort of head-to-head. So we're actually going to be seeing IKM, who are in second place at the moment, versus SB, who are in 8th position. But the kills in that game was fairly decent for IQM, who do get a total of 4 from Tomb, and then SB overall get 7 and also 1.3k damage, which is pretty insane.
That's the biggest difference to me, right? Because you look at the damage numbers and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on with IQM? And you're like, yeah, that's because that was all Tomb. 100% of the way his team pretty much goes down. We're going to take a look specifically at Tomb versus one of SB's members there. That is
look at the
Shahad Fatias, and wow.
Yeah, it's quite close on that front. So, and also the distance as well. I mean, SB had to travel quite far between these players, and then also headshots is actually the same count, but that damage between them was off by a couple of points. And then we're actually gonna have a look at Wolf versus Azrael from SB as well, where
both of these guys actually went down pretty early. I mean, you look at the distance covered, that's really team-based anyways, so a tiny bit of damage comes in from Azrael. But yeah, the problem is Wolf, as he was creeping up with the team, they pretty much get wiped off the map, and this is what forced Tomb to really get into that position. Mustafa, same thing really happens here, but it's a Dirmaka that actually does a lot more for his squad.
Yeah, a lot of distance traveled we will see on these maps, and well, GG, well played to them. That was actually a really good game to see from 4XT especially. And I mean, we can obviously see it one more sort of head-to-head here, but they are going to be pretty much the team. The only person who did any performance on IQM was
You could have just put Tomb up against everybody else. And that's the thing is, though, like, it was unfortunate that they got knocked out so early on. Obviously, that's down to the team just really not recognizing the superior firefight on the opposite side. But imagine if that hadn't happened, if they had been able to do it as 4, because Tomb, I mean, he was just playing like a man possessed. And if they had the rest of his squad to back him up, I really do think they could have had that chicken dinner. But we'll have to see for the next one.
Yep, and if you want to see who has had the chicken dinners and the most points, you can also go visit the standings.
Yeah, you can check all that information, including up-to-the-minute standings, as well as all of our squads, over at clubopen.pubgmobile.com, all that information. And not just for the MEA region, you can get it for everyone here at the Club Open. So, big fan of the global PUBG Mobile scene, you can check that stuff out. In addition, go ahead and check us out on YouTube and give us that subscription so you don't miss a single minute of the PUBG action. It is over at youtube.com/PUBGMobileEsports.
Make sure to ding-dong that notification bell, and
otherwise, we'll ring the shame bell.
Shame bell indeed, but you know what? We're going to be right back.
Yeah, we got double Erangel. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more PUBG Mobile action.
Royale Pass Season 6 is here. This season's theme is 1-year anniversary of PUBG Mobile, with lots of rare items. We've also added lots of more realistic and hardcore items to your Royale Pass rewards. Turn yourself into an elite soldier. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up, so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass.
Ha! Gotcha. Royale Pass. You deserve it.
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number 1 in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile. Be the one.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the PUBG Mobile Club Open. I am, of course, still Pyrotechnics, and this is, of course, We Free Men. But he is only but one man.
One man.
One mission.
One game to cast, and that's going to be
Technically, we have
Erangel.
2 games to cast on Erangel. We are halfway through the day, Tom.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Caster Master never my strong suit either, so it's all right. Yeah, we have 2 more games of Erangel coming up next, and honestly, this should be a big difference.
Yeah, I mean,
big old map.
It's going to be really interesting to see, and we've got a couple of teams to highlight, and we want to watch. It's going to be AXT as I think both of our main team to watch. Can they actually perform on Erangel, which they didn't do too badly yesterday, but they kind of fell off towards the end of yesterday's games.
Right. But today they've been hot. I mean,
Yep.
it's obviously the first 2 maps, Sanhok, Vikendi, a little bit different stuff, but they got the chicken dinners on both of them. We have not had a team play that consistently here in the MEA region in this spring split, not yet. And if they can do 3 for 3, then all of a sudden this team is looking real hot. I'm really keen to see the standings, actually.
Yeah, I mean, it's back-to-back wins, like you said. Not had it before. We've not had a single team get a back-to-back win.
And
in the
a lot of
ME
frags
region.
as well.
Yeah, so
And here's why. This is what's going to happen. We see them leaping into that first place position. They do finally leap over the real deal who aren't playing today with a whopping 148 points. But look at how close 7T are. That's only 9 points behind them.
Yeah, that's really good. And I mean, talked about TRD, the real deal, and look how close they are, considering they're still 1 game behind, or 2 games now behind, which is so amazing. We talked about it last game, that they have that sort of 1 game advantage to really sort of try and catch up. So we will see that happening, obviously, next week. But look at these standings. So AB, MBZ, none of these sort of really taking part in today, but MEA into 12th position. So they've gone up 1. S&P are in 13th position now.
Yeah, and that was their best performance there on Vikendi. So we're starting to see S&P kind of really start to come into their own. Looking forward to seeing what else they can do. Of course, Rush to Crush, they did get crushed in a rushed fashion, and unfortunately sitting in 16th place. Really want to see more of them on Vikendi to see if it wasn't just a fluke the first time around. It may well have been, but they do have some chances still to prove themselves, and we see the rest of the teams. TUB, who actually had a really solid performance, as well as, well, we saw IQM a little bit further up the top, but TUB are sitting in that 20th place spot. That's because they missed 2 matches. They actually didn't load into all of our games.
Yeah, and they have only got 9 kills. That's definitely something they need to improve on. And let's have a look at these.
SB have been stepping it up. I don't think we actually saw them load in previously, but this time around they've played both their matches. They've gotten a couple of points. They're still far back just because they've been missing so much, but they put in some solid numbers that last time around, 11 kills across 2 games. Looking forward to seeing what else they can do.
Yeah, I mean, can they be consistent? Who knows? We'll have to see. Wait and see on those guys. But they have got 11 kills, which is more than some teams have got overall. I mean,
especially in this part of the standings.
Yeah, I mean, if we have a look at 963, which was actually on the page previous, that
yeah, they moved up.
Yeah, they've actually moved up onto the page above, which is a first.
Yeah, and it's honestly, I think it was a matter of time. 963, like you can't go through so many games and just completely get out fragged without picking up something for your troubles. We actually got really excited. We thought they'd pulled off a really good breach. It turned out it was actually TUB because we got a little debated by the tags. But that being said, 963 did still have their best run of the game so far. However, SB kind of ruined their day, so maybe they'll change again. But here we are on to Erangel, and look at that plane drop. That's going to be right across the middle, Tom.
Yeah, so this is going to be quite an interesting one. It's fairly good, but due to the way
Pachinki drops?
Pachinki drops indeed. I wonder how many teams we're going to see on here. I think we're going to be seeing maybe at least 3 teams.
I mean, if I'm AXT, I got to drop on that because they've looked so good in defensive positions. They know how to hold compounds.
Yeah, I think AXT, VW will be definitely dropping there. Maybe even Snap. They may not go there, but George Pool is going to be a lot harder for these teams to rotate on over to or fly over to, rather, just due to the way the air mechanics work. And we do actually know that most of these teams don't drop down, get a car, and rotate, so they tend to drop where they drop. But some of them may well be going over towards Hospital, which is fairly decent. That is going to be, I think, TUB, aka Tub, and also 69 SWAT, who will be going over in that direction. AXT actually going to go down towards Ferry Pier, it seems, or Crory.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So a lot of teams did kind of hop out the plane early on. It looks like MEA are going to be the ones that do head towards Pachinki, and they might even be alone, given the fact that the couple of other teams that have dropped out near them are heading up north to Rozhok.
Yeah, so they're going to be left alone. They're going to have a clean game here. So it's going to depend on where the circle lands, whether they're going to.
I know why MEA is doing this because last time they were on Erangel, they dropped on the westernmost edge and got completely blown up by the military circle.
Yeah, that was not a good time for them. 70 going back.
Speaking of,
nope.
Look at that.
This is the same circle as yesterday. So ME right now are like, okay, thank God. We've actually got this now.
Yeah, well, if it would have just like gone to the north into like shooting range or whatever, like, oh, come on.
It's like, you can't do this anytime. But 70, they are actually going to go continually to Yasnaya. They have proven dominance over that area, and it seems like most teams have decided to respect that who do know them. And so we'll be seeing them being able to take that. Nox are going to head over towards the Povka. This is in Georgetown right now. We can see MBJ in front 6 there, and then we've got 3 members in back 6. Mustafa's just looting up the farm building. And then we have VW.
They've actually just decided to swim for the military complex. I mean, there's nobody else there, so like they're going to be perfectly fine. But they're making a big bet on the circle.
I mean, it's fine. I just don't understand why they decided to swim instead of not just run across the...
It's a nice day out, maybe?
they just wanted to go for a nice little bit of a paddle.
It's summer over here on Erangel.
Doggy paddle, you know. Yeah. Or actually, they're doing like the
so it's a breaststroke, I think, or butterfly, yeah.
Butterfly, it's butterfly, yeah.
I am not great at swimming. I can do backstroke, okay.
I used to. I grew up having a pool outside, so I used to.
Oh, yeah, that's nice,
mostly.
man. I wish I had that.
Yeah.
SMP can start things off, though. They actually do get a knockdown on to one of the members of KS and finish the job. That's Sheriff. So SMP are one of those teams that they've really started to level up before our eyes.
I mean, you could really say that they've just snapped into existence today and really started to perform better.
Or at least kicked it up a notch, that's for sure. They're going for this breach here as Ebo sitting on top of the roof. Seif going to try and get the angle on him, but Ebo's been one of the better members of KS. Let's see what they can get done.
Yeah,
I mean, only 3.
This is actually a fairly good position. He is a little bit low. He's got level 1 armor, body armor, and head armor. That was so smart. Look at this play coming in.
Oh, did he just take the car and he's like, I'm
just
out?
Duped them. They drove that car to him, and he's like, yeet.
Yeah, no, he really does just get the heck out of there. He does take a lot of damage, unfortunately, but his car's not on fire, so he can just cruise across the bridge. And, you know, at this point, it's a little bit of a safer bridge than it might have been because it's so early on in the game. So, unfortunately, SMP are denied more than 1 kill.
That was fantastic. I have to give KS member there. But he is going to get chased, but it doesn't really matter at this point. He should be able to rotate on over, unless he goes straight towards SMP.
I think the two SMP members are a little bit further out here, but we'll talk about them in a minute because this is IQM, Tomb being the hero of that last game for his squad.
So just to bring it back onto this, so we are actually going to be seeing Chaos going over to the wait, what? Okay, he launches
Evo?
himself. He does actually do it quite well, but unfortunately he's heading over to the 2 members who did land over towards Novo.
Yeah, he thought he'd escape SMP, but they're right on back of him.
Yeah, he is actually going in for long rotation. His driving skills are actually pretty impressive.
Yeah, and that's not easy to do on a mobile game either.
No, and he's actually got no helmet now because it was shot off. And so he's going to be able to pick up some fresh armor there, but he's going to have to get these heals on. It's going to be an energy drink, fairly decent level 2 helmet as well, but he doesn't pick it up. Yeah. He does realize that.
SMP should know he's here over on Novo, over by the shipping crates, but they're not going to move for him.
Yeah, well, it does seem like they are actually starting to sort of go over towards him. But it's going to be KA, one of the sort of performing teams today. We have seen some interesting plays from a couple of their members surviving through, and then 7T, who have been playing very consistently. They didn't get in as such a great...
The ceiling hasn't been there. That's the problem. We wanted to see more from S7T because we have such high expectations of them based on their previous performance. But they are pretty much unopposed on Yasnaya. The issue is that's not within the circle, so they're going to have to take up shelter somewhere else. But we do check back in with Ebo here over on Novo.
Unfortunately, he hasn't decided to boost up, so he's going to be a bit of a downfall. So unless he heals up and he just runs straight out of there, I think he will end up dying to them. And we are now seeing 963 over in, is that Kameshki, if I'm right in saying? And,
I think it is, yeah.
And over next to Stauber, which is going to be a bit of a dead man's land, and like the circle isn't anywhere near it as well, so they're going to have a long rotation. And then Nox, who are over in Lipovka, have got 1 vehicle. Hopefully they are going to be able to find another one, because they're going to have to cross the bridge potentially. So that is ideally what you want to see, or a boat.
Yeah, we might see a few boat strats if this military circle continues, but that's going to be yet to be seen. And here with TUB, we're going to catch them as well over here by Georgia Pool.
Yeah, Crete. Pretty decent area to loot up. And
yeah, unfortunately not within the circle, so they are going to have to move, but they've got a good position on it now.
They do actually have a UAZ on the road there, so they will be able to rotate. A little bit further away, we are going to be seeing KS, another member of KS.
Yeah, so Ebo was posted up with Ahmed, who went down earlier on, but the rest of the team's kind of been out of there. So circle starts to close in here, and you can see 963 already going for the rotate. But again, they do the double car strat, so we're seeing these teams improve.
Yeah, no, I really do hope that they sort of put this into play more so. And we can see the map here, and also KS still alive at the moment, and they could actually hold out a couple of teams from being able to go for the cross, get those kills, which would be a really interesting play, because we've not seen any teams really hold the bridge too often. We saw UN, I think, yesterday or the day before hold the bridge, but they weren't able to get any shots on people. No. IBO, he's going to be able to make it out of there.
Man, this guy is just sneaking his way on down the road here and he's going to move away from Nova. Now, there is another squad that's post up in military base. That's VW. So if he runs into them, he could be in a bit of trouble. But meanwhile, we'll check in with some of our other squads. MEA here just found themselves in a couple of loot spots just down the way.
Yeah, so they have actually crossed on the western bridge there over towards the military island, and this is a fairly new compound. I say new, within the last sort of 6 months it's sort of been here.
We do have boat strats.
Yeah, there we go. So AXT have got the boat out there, and we've also got 2 buggies over on Ferry Pier. This is on the opposite side to Military Island, and actually one of the cars there only has 1 wheel, so I hope they don't.
Yeah, that one's not going to work so well.
Sure.
It looks like they're trying to have one foot in either boat, to be honest, because if the circle does go up more towards the northern land side in this next one, they'll be able to rotate on that pretty easily. VW here, though, they're going to spread out on military base. So far, the only team to occupy it.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing KS here once again. IBO has made it.
Yeah, he's met up with his teammates. I mean, this is like a serious reunion.
Yeah, and it's good to see that, and his teammates are going to drop him a couple of bits of loot to try and help him back up.
It's actually just Kraken, though. So where's Ari right now?
I think he's near the bridge, if I'm right in saying.
Ooh, another boat. This is Nox. Now, they were the team that actually had posted up on Military Island the last time around.
Yeah, so surprising that they decided not to go against that, but maybe they did watch the games and decided not to go for the contention against it and went for Lipovka, which is a fairly decent drop zone as well, so can't go wrong with that one. And now we're going to be seeing TUB going for the rotation, but they've got a long way to go there,
Yeah, they
Devin.
do.
That's a long way to go.
Yeah, they do. It's a long way from Georgia Pool. New hit single coming next summer. I was like, give it a lot of time because people might actually expect it.
Exactly, a long time
Wait till
away.
the mixtape. All right, here's AXT as well, over by Ferry Pool, as you mentioned. So it's nice slowdown. It's nicely calm and everything. I feel like when there's such a big split out the plane as there was, and then you get a military circle, everyone is just going to be going on a road trip for quite a while.
Yeah, and I'm not even quite sure what AXT are doing because they've had a couple of vehicles. They had the boat, but they've actually just left the boat and just like, we don't actually care about this.
And seriously, 69 SWAT are actually there, and they're going to get found by AXT.
Oh.
A lot of crossfire going down. Rodel lit them up right now, and it looks like they're in some serious trouble trying to split away, but this is why you want to have multiple vehicles.
This is just the perfect example as to why you need to have those vehicles, and they're actually going to be going straight onto the pier here, which is a bit of a dangerous area.
2 boats swimming and sloshing in Narcos.
Yeah, so I was actually wanted to see a bit of a sort of water strat and to see what happened when people fired at them and see if they were able to dodge or not, because we've not really seen any sort of water games so far, which is always a good move here.
Ooh, long nade. Good rock placement, though. Here comes Demon sneaking up. So AXT, these guys are like sharks, man. They smell blood and they just go for it.
Yeah, and I mean, we actually saw a really good performance from out of these individual players the other day as well. It was actually quite nice of them. But with this new, I guess, potential sort of IGL positioning from Polar, they might actually be able to play even better now as they have done in the first 32 games. So we've got high expectations of them in Erangel. So let's see if they can actually perform.
Yeah, already 2 chicken dinners in their pocket, looking for even more. Here's the next circle. So it is still split between Military Island, and it still encompasses Pachinki. But the team that had actually gone there, they've already bailed out. I believe that was MEA, and they've gone real far out now. Still split, as you mentioned. MBJ and Lashin kind of ran afoul of AXT. Rest of the team's coming in, though. Nox, look at that long rotate that Nox pulled. They actually landed on the south side of the island. They really took the long cruise.
And that's actually quite a usual one to sort of happen on some military islands. So it's good to see that they do actually go out for that. Unfortunately, 69 SWAT are not going to have a good day here.
Demon, he's got MEA under heavy fire, and that vehicle is blown to heck, so they're not going to get much of a chance to get anywhere with it. So far, these 69 SWAT members kind of pinned down under the AXT. Grenades primed and ready. Gonna get that smoke out. So they might just do a runner into the water.
The thing is, I mean, they've got 2 members on the other side of the pier here who will probably be healing up and then trying to just push on in.
He was just going to put a bandage on. He knows he's not getting through that smoke. Not too easily. Oh, there's the crossfire.
Some shots coming out from a distance. These guys, they're trying to take the...
Oh, Demon. Into the smoke he goes. Trying to find that damage, but you could see it looks like Mustafa's already made it out, so MBJ is going to need to be doing the other one. However, Lashin might be caught. Demon had his scopes up. Not sure if he saw him.
I don't think he did. I think he heard a couple of shots towards him from them, but didn't really end up happening. So we are going to be seeing sort of these guys K over towards farm. KS not too far away. Circle will be coming in. Snap still half in the blue right now.
Yeah, interesting. It really is a kind of an odd placement there. You can see Snap just going on a road trip once again. 69 SWAT have kind of regained their own positioning on this pier here as they regroup. They were split for a while, but talk about a good reunion for them.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't all swim across, they should at least get one person who just repositions over onto the military island so that they can double bet here. KS being this close together is definitely not favorable. If a single grenade goes in there, they're then screwed. But like I said before as well, if they just take one building, I talked about it earlier in the first match foul. A lot of these teams are just going into one building rather than spread out across multiple. Talking of which, these guys are doing it as well.
Yeah, and you'd think they would have learned on the IQM side because they lost all 3 on a rotate when they were really clumped together. It was Tomb that had to make that crazy hero play and get himself into the top 3. Ooh. And there is a drop that is quite far out in the water, but there is an AWM there. And look at this. Mustafa's swimming for it.
It's like, you know what, I have to swim across anyway, may as well have some encouragement. So he's going to get full level 3 in AWM and also an extended quick draw mag for the AR, which just makes it a lot easier.
Ooh,
and
look at the new circle.
It is actually on Pachinki.
Just the tip of Pachinki.
Just the tip. But we could actually see a couple of these teams block out these guys. So we'll see what they end up doing. I mean, we could actually see Mustafa from, I think that's TUB, able to sort of rotate over and stop MEA and the other teams from being able to rotate across the bridge.
Yeah, might do. SMP, we're going to keep our eyes on them now as they have still a couple of vehicles. And they're not too far away from getting back into those circles. Meanwhile, at Nox, they've been going on a long road trip themselves. They really had to go quite a distance. But they haven't encountered a whole lot of other people. And just as well because they're bumping their car right up against the houses.
You know what really sucks? They rotated all the way around on the south side with a boat. So they literally went all the way from the Povka, all the way around Mill to Power, and then all the way around to the bottom.
Only to have the circle just completely be like, lol.
And they did actually have 2 vehicles as well, I'm fairly certain, in Lipovka. But we're actually going to be seeing a firefight onto the back of these guys.
Yeah, this is TUB getting fired on by AXT right now as they try to cross over at Ferry Pier.
I'm not quite sure what happened there because that was actually 69 SWAT who were on the pier. So TUB just dove in the middle of these guys.
And got caught in the crossfire. Speaking of, though, it looks like we're in for a fight right now. This is SB and KS, who, as you mentioned, were clumped up in the house. And there are nades flying in through the windows.
Well, I'd hate to say it, but I would like to see them punished for this, because if you clump up, you should get punished, and it seems like AXT are going to get punished by TUB, but returning the fire themselves.
They do. There's 3 knocks already here onto the TUB members. It's only 1 player healthy in AXT. It's just Demon who's been downed, and it looks like Clown might go around to finish the job here. He should be able to pick that one up, easy peasy.
It's really important. It's really important to get those finishes when you're sort of fairly certain now on a line like that.
Ooh, 70's found Snap.
Yeah, because otherwise they will just continually feed information to the opposition there.
Snap gets wiped out completely. We're not seeing the fight, but we are seeing the kill feed here, and Snap are completely gone. So unfortunately, that last game where they ended up in 4th place, it looks like that might just be a blip on the radar.
Yeah, and they go out in 13th position with leaving 46 people left alive.
Yeah, looks like soon to follow, though. Ooh, there's Demon. Although Rodel does get downed over the last remaining members of TUB, but too strong are the AXT side, and they do manage to get the finisher off. So TUB go down in 12th place.
That was really impressive there. Hopefully AXT can actually recover from that because it's quite dangerous. But MEA are actually going ham, and they're going to be knocking down a bunch of people. Palat is going to die, or at least go out to the blue there. MEA going to be knocking out VW potentially here.
They moved in onto the military base, and they just took them out. And that had been where VW were just camping out, and unfortunately they were going to be forced to move soon enough. So MEA finding so many kills here. They should have gotten that wipeout. Yes, they do. Knocked out in 11th place for VW. That sucks considering their positioning looked so good earlier on.
Yeah, that was a really well played from MEA. They actually had to go aggressive against this team, so fair play to them. Well, actually, they were defending, and I think they got pushed, and then they just like, nope, we're staying alive. We did a rotation, and then we have to rotate once again back on over to the mainland. And look at that that sort of push down to the coast here. So almost half the circle is in water, which means it's very much going to have a hard shift up to the northern side of the circle there.
And look at us, who already moving. AXT do not miss a minute of it, but there is going to be a very crowded space there. Demon is going to get knocked down to his hands and knees, but not before the play zone is starting to take out a lot of these members. Rodel actually gets knocked down by it. So everyone has to start making tracks here. You can see 69 SWAT are going to be doing as well.
And the last person left alive is actually going to be Pula, I think, on the AXT's team, which is just bad news.
Lashin gets play zoned as well. This feels really bad. Nox have not been in a fight this game, by the way, because they've just been going all over the map. So I want to see where they end up, because they're still all healthy right now. Yeah. AXT are down to 2 members. Really, the environment started hitting them pretty hard, but they did manage to make it in there with Pilat and Clown.
Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't get the hills off in time just due to the damage of the circle at this point. Makes it very hard, but look at this, 963.
Naya's got him in the sights, but he just couldn't quite get the car blown up. So 963 still in this top 10 position at the moment.
KS are going to be backing away from this fight, but not soon enough.
Yeah, SB going to start lighting them up right now. That's Ebo and Ari already down. The finishing blow is coming through, and SB just looking so much better. However, there's a couple of firebacks onto Ebo.
And Kraken trying to get the finish here. He's going to be running through the open, but they should have an idea of where he is. He's going to go in the open, going down to Azrael.
Yeah, so coming up a lot stronger here is SB in this firefight, and we can even see off screen a couple other fights are coming through. Looks like Jiznaya is actually able to find one for himself, and Nox loses Ben in all of that chaos. It was actually to one of the 963 members.
Really well played to 963, still being alive at this point in the top 8. One of their best positioning so far. Now it's going to be MEA.
Oh, Falastine onto Haji's already gotten him down. Just heavy fire. Not a lot of chances for him to react there. Wasi's even going to be able to get the kill onto Haji. And look at this split out. This is what we were hoping for from IQM. Just hiding on the low ground in the water. AXT on the edge there.
Well, that was an interesting screen. Hopefully we can go back to it at some point. But for now, SB do lose a member. He does end up finishing again. Finished. KA still alive at the moment. MEA still alive. And then we have got IQM just in the water at the moment. This is not the ideal situation, but it's very difficult for them to get up. There is a position they can do, but not right now. So the circle will start to close very shortly. It's actually closing right now, and SB are going to have to go for a push into the circle.
Yeah, 70 are in like the best position right now of all the teams, so this is starting to look a lot better for the team we were hoping to get some chicken dinners out of earlier today, but had been going out a little bit earlier than their points had suggested. KA here post up over on the edge, and SB's actually coming in hot on the vehicle. 963 up in the hills. Nox occupying the house. It looks like we're going to be in for one of those big old all-out multiple team firefights with 25 players still alive here as we get into the 18.5-minute mark, ending Zone 4 pretty soon.
I think SB could actually have a really good position here, because this next circle can still sort of shift slightly downwards, but as we go further into the game, it's going to favor them in regards to sort of the rotations or the circle positioning. Anyway, Nox, obviously, like you said, Ben did go down, which is a bit unfortunate in that rotation. 70 have got a decent position. They have got the sort of hard cover here, and the circle is going to be coming in. There's a fair few packages, and we do obviously know IQM are in a bit of a bad position. But
they're in the circle, though,
that. Yeah,
so they can hang out for a while, and 70 are still within it.
Yeah, so hopefully if they just stay down there, they may be healthy. But unfortunately, if 70 decide to peek over the edge, they may well be able to get the shots off on these guys. Yeah,
if AXT are just right on top of them and they don't know it right now, Jiznaya is going to be able to find Galiko and gets it down onto him. So Nox actually falling prey to the 963 members.
Yeah, not so good. 70. It's going to be, I think this whole game is going to depend on how they handle MEA. And MEA are going to be able to have a chance to be able to get a couple of drops here. KA actually dropped down into the water.
Yeah, they have, and it looks like there'll be a firefight as a lot of the teams start to encroach upon each other's territory here. AXT going to be moving out. It's Palat and Clown, last two members remaining. If they could pick up a chicken dinner with just 2 remaining after this, that would, I think, prove that AXT are an insane squad. But it's going to be hard to do. Still 8 teams still up and alive, and a lot of them with a lot more members.
Yeah, so Circle is now going to be getting restricted. 963 in actually a very healthy position. MEA going to have to rotate. It's going to be difficult for them. 17, knocked down 1.
By Fazal, yeah. SB. It looks like Galiko's going to be able to find Jiznaya as on the opposite side here. And it looks like a couple of teams getting involved in this. Fazal is going to be running for it, looking for the SB members. He sprays, but maybe he should have prayed a little bit harder because he gets knocked onto his hands and knees, and that should be the finishing blow here. Wasi is going to get taken out by Reef.
That was so unfortunate. Why would you push like that alone? I mean, I guess if you see a vehicle going over, you may think someone's going to get knocked.
We saw that happen last game, too. Sometimes in these chaotic fights, it seems like some of the 17 members just rush it.
It's just the same thing over and over again. They don't seem to play as a team in these rushes, but switching on over, MEA have actually made it over to hard cover and into the center of the circle.
And they found 963 as well. MEA only playing with 2 right now. They got to be more careful about Nox, who are creeping up on their backsides.
That was actually very clever there. He was searching for information underneath that. He's now going to be pushing over towards 963.
Peek. A couple of fronts to watch right now.
They're trying to shoot his toes. His little toesies.
Yeah, lucky for him, it looks like 963 might be coming down with a bad case of Stormtrooper syndrome. Not able to find the shot.
Actually going to be pushing over towards over towards Nox.
Yeah, 3-fronted fight here. 963 still has 3 members up and available. And it looks like they do get 1 knockdown onto Galiko. Let's see if they can do it a little bit more, using good cover. That's Lorance. Gonna have to reload there, though.
They need to get a grenade in here.
Comes the rush. Looking for the finisher. It's just Jiznaya that actually manages to get it. Galiko already out of this one, so Nox are actually losing out on this fight. This is great for 963.
This is fantastic news for them. They need to use a little bit more nades. They do block that vehicle so they can't get killed as they push up next to it. Morze has a good position, though.
Yeah, trying for the peak. Let's see. Grenades out. Through the window. Looks like that's a smoke. He might start running for it after this one. Guns. I think he's not the last one standing. Fallenstein's in this as well, but we don't know where he is right now. And Guns very careful not to get dropped down. Fallenstein, meanwhile, getting Samurai. So he's involved in a completely different fight. MEA on 2 different fronts right now. And Reef is going to get the knockdown onto Azrael from SB in this other fight over here. As the circle encroaches, Control onto his hands and knees. It's just trades of kills, blow for blow. 7T coming up ahead, though.
Pretty good performance so far from 7T, but they've also failed a little bit. And look at this fight coming out from MEA, but he's going to get knocked by Nox.
Dr. Aluz is able to come up with it at the end of the day. The hero of Nox's last round on Erangel. And MEA is just down to Fallenstein.
Fallenstein has to really carry the weight of his team right now. He has to get a better position. MEA can't afford to get any less than the 5th position, if I'm right in saying. They need those extra points.
Yeah, there were a couple of rounds that they just quite didn't show up to, and well, this has definitely been a better performance for them, but it's going to be tough to do. Now look at this. IQM have just continued to sit here in the rocks and firing at a couple of shots. They are in a little bit of trouble. We check back in with this other fight here. It looks like AXT have actually found out the positioning of IQM.
Yeah, and so Tomb is going to potentially have a bit of a watery Tomb if he's not careful, if he carries on swimming under the water. But Clown isn't actually looking over to him, so they have a chance.
Yeah, Nox, last 2 members, kind of sitting here trying to get those feet fires for sure. 963 still doing a good job of avoiding it, stepping and jumping.
You gotta love that. It's like when you're in your room and you're trying to, like, the floor is lava, or you don't want the monster to get you from under the bed.
I did. I love the floor is lava. Control getting taken down, though. KA still in this one, actually, so the fight continues. Looks like Reef turns it back around onto Loss, and every single time, 7T are actually managing to get their teammates back up off the ground here. It looks like, though, Lawrence, he steps forward, but into the Molotov, and he gets knocked down by Morzy. Mustafa, meanwhile, going to take out 7T's Control as Morzy creeps forward. AXT are actually joining the fray here.
This is such a smart play from Nox, going in for the feet shots, and also that Molotov and the angle was just brilliant. Now they're going to be able to heal up and recover from this.
Yeah, they needed to. Dr. Luz is a little bit low. Here's Fallenstein, actually. Unfortunately, he's swimming straight for the members of IQM. They see him coming. He could meet his fate early as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for them to do too much. As
Backstroke, front stroke.
Mustafa is on the island, so he should be able to do the damage here. Wolf should actually be able to see him momentarily, so Mustafa should be looking over towards him. But they're going to be able to speak to each other now. Say hello.
This is neutral territory. This is where you do not engage in combat.
Cold War here.
Hello, everybody. Don't mind me.
It's like, hey guys, how you doing? What are you up to?
Just a bit PUBG.
You know, in the competition right now, playing for 2.5 million. You know.
Good stuff. All right, so they just say hi to each other, and nice little gentleman's agreement because they can't shoot the guns in the water.
He carried on swimming past them as well, which.
Well, it's funny. Well, I mean, if he gets to land first.
Yeah, he does realize that.
And they realize it too. Mustafa's still sitting on the high ground, though.
I don't think Mustafa is like, I can't actually move on this one.
Well, I mean, he's got up around the side.
Fallenstein does get up onto land.
And AXT might not have seen him coming. However, somebody certainly did, so he gets back in the water. Oh, dear.
Yeah, that was 7T who
had
actually got the spot.
One shot away.
Oh, look at Mustafa.
Davy Jones. Mustafa going up on the high ground himself, but he's getting fired upon, and he's down on his hands and knees. Game is up, I'm afraid.
That was a brilliant bait. Somehow Fallenstein has ended up on the top here because Wolf is going to go down now, and Tomb is the last member left alive once again. They've only got 2 kills. Can he top that up a little bit? AXT going to be crawling through the open.
Sneaky Snakes looking for it right now, trying to join in. You know, if this next circle... It looks like it's favoring IQM. They might just be able to play this hide-and-seek game.
No, so this next circle should really do a hard shift.
No, you're right, it is. It's away from them.
Yeah, and it will actually be pushing away from them. They can technically still get up on land there.
Fallenstein's trying for it, actually, but Mustafa's there. And he's taken out, so that will be MEA in 6th place.
I think that was a big mistake. He kind of knew that. Well, he knew 7T were there. And he really just played for the odds, and I think Reef may well go for another kill here, but he may not.
Reef's the last man standing from 17.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. All right. He's got to be careful himself. 963 are still in this, though, and this is the greatest performance we've seen out of them right now. Actually managing to avoid some of these big firefights. Reef takes out Mustafa. Reef takes out Wolf, and he's clutching it. Reef takes out Tomb. You got to be kidding me. He just cleans house on the IQM members and secures his team a better placement.
Easy for Reef. Wonder if he could actually take it even further. He's in the next circle.
Yeah, he might be able to do it. If he sees AXT here.
He's got probably actually one of the best positions for this circle.
Well, nobody's on top of him right now because 963 and Nox are locked in Mortal Kombat. Reef is just kind of on by himself, and AXT not daring to move because they know there's somebody across the way.
Yeah, he could actually take the shots onto them, and no one can really challenge him thanks to the angle he's got on the rock.
This is the best shot that 7T have for a chicken dinner, even though they only have Reef left.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, especially with the Cyber Circle, because if Nox and 963 go out of combat, then it'd be great.
I think Nox got to move first.
But
actually, it might be 963. Reef's waiting for it. Oh, and they're still not healthy.
Reef can literally see everything in this circle, by the way. This is how incredible this position is. As soon as someone moves, he'll know. And he can chuck a grenade or he can shoot like that.
Free fire, and he gets it. Reef is going to get that knockdown onto Morzy and looks for even more. Dr. Luz can't quite find him there.
They've got 13 kills so far. This is insane. A grenade
11 for Reef alone.
Yeah, a grenade is going to be going out. It's not quite in the right position, but Dr. Aluz is going to be in a little bit of a bad situation.
Yeah, he's got to start moving, though. I mean, you don't even have to hit him with the nades because the blue's creeping up on him. He's going to have to move in that general direction anyway, so just keep peppering him right now.
Oh,
he
no.
might give away his position. That one's going a little high. Let's see if it lands where he needs it to. And Dr. Aluz. Oh, that was so close here. Holding his nerve.
That was his last grenade. It was a bit of a mistake in my opinion because there can't be too many people behind there. So why waste your grenade on one person when you know there's 6 other people left
XTR
alive?
on the move. Look at this clown.
You called them sharks, and that's exactly what they're looking to do.
Well, I mean, I guess I should have called them snakes, to be honest, because that's the way they're playing it right now. The question is, does Reef see him coming?
He's not looking. Oh. No, he really needs to check his position in here. He does now see Dr. Aluz.
Onto Dr. Aluz. That's going to be the finisher. However, he does take some damage from 963 in the meantime, so he's got to be careful, get himself healed back up, and he can hope that, looks like there's a big firefight here. 963 going to get 2 members downed, as Yasnaya is going to be the only one standing from their team, and he looks for AXT. The sneaky snakes in the grass take him down, secure themselves at least a second place finish. Clown going for the run, and Reef is going to nearly do it!
He's got it! The circle is in his favor. He should be able to clutch this. We called this as being his chance to win, and now Clown is going to be turning into a joke as the circle's going to be hitting him.
First aid kit comes through too, so he gets a little bit of extra healing. Clown, it is in to this for the win. A 1v1 between AXT and 7T. Who will come out on top?
Reef has the opportunity here. He's got the angle and potentially the position. I can't quite tell, but
Nade's
Cloud,
out.
he's got the grenade, but he's holding it for potentially too long. Is he going to kill himself? What's he doing,
Oh,
Cloud?
you gotta throw it, but put the pin back in!
He's going in
dear.
for another one now. He's lining it up. That could be it. Nope.
It's going very close. He's going to move
on him.
Reef.
He
He's dropped
comes
down to the
down.
blue!
Reef, no!
He's
Not-
taking so much damage right now if he can get back up before he goes down. And that is so close. Has to use another first aid kit, but this buys Clown some time. Pops himself an energy drink. Got to get them pain pills on as well. So he is ready to fight.
Oh,
He's going though. Gets the down!
He got it!
7T coming out in first place. What an absolutely brilliant clutch from Reef, who gets 14 kills and a chicken dinner.
What an insane game, 17. We said they needed to go above and beyond, and they go absolutely huge. Fantastic news for 7T here. Reef, I am grinning from ear to ear. You have to give them mad props for that. AXT trying to make it work, but unfortunately, when a player's on a roll like that, getting 14 kills by himself, which is more than some teams have in total across all the previous games, it is just insane.
That was an epic match. But how about AXT getting that second place after 2 chicken dinners? They can't be too mad about that, even if they can't go 3 for 3. But 963 with a third place, by far their best finish. The ending felt a little bad there because it was more of a whimper and rather than a bang, but they were able to stay alive, and that's more than we've seen from them in many of these crazy firefights. When it mattered, they stepped up to it on Erangel, and I can't wait to see what they do in round 2.
You can't even be mad coming in second from AXT, especially against someone who gets 14 kills. You're like, oh, and then you look at the scoreboard and it's like, okay, never mind, guys. You have that one.
The thing is, he would have had a little bit more time to react if he hadn't gone for the extra heals up, because he had the energy drink, and then he decided to go for the pain pills as well. And while he was popping the pills, Reef took him out.
Well, you know what? I now know why Reef's name is in the team name.
Yeah, because he's definitely the big carry. The other 17 members, it looked like they went down not incredibly early, but about in that mid-game when the circle started to shift away from Military Island and go back up towards the coast on the north side there. But Reef, when it counted, he stand and delivered. Let's take a look at the highlights of this game, and it definitely had a lot of boat strats, but AXT were the ones kicking things off really early here.
Yeah, they actually managed to close in a couple of kills there a little bit earlier than we thought they would, and then we switch on over towards SB, who are taking on KS, managed to get the wipe on them, easy peasy. They then crash on over towards 7T, eventually able to get a kill there.
And then MEA managed to find some of these 963 members, and we thought, oh boy, we've seen this movie before. Light's going to be out soon enough. But Lorans and the rest of 963 held firm. They let other teams fight up against each other, and they played it out well. MEA here, they got themselves into some trouble, but Follow Steam was able to knock up a couple more points. And then here was that fight between 7T and SB, and it was just all kinds of hectic. But 7T managed to stay alive for the most part, but they did lose a lot of members, and that was where things started to look rough for them.
Yeah, and somehow Nox still staying alive right now here, taking out the last, well, second to last member of MEA. We can get a second view of it now, and then the last member was over in the water. We'll see eventually, right here, saying hello to his friends.
Oh, yes, always.
Wolf and Tomb, who Reef did eventually finish off. He got all of these kills down here. You can see how he got all these kills.
Yeah, this is when he just posted up in that position. He just realized, wait a second, there's an absolute all-you-can-eat buffet sitting around me at this point. So he didn't even need to wait for that chicken dinner to get himself a lot of stacked kills. He was able to finish off the remaining members of Nox, who were moving against the circle. 963 got a pot shot on him. And AXT, the remaining members just absolutely lit up 963 and showing why they're so good at taking these shots. But unfortunately, when it came down to it, well, Reef managed to get that big outplay in the end. Clown made a run behind the building, and that was so close to him going down. The grenade even forced him out into the blue, but, yeah, you can't pop those pills fast enough, man. And 7T Reef coming up huge with 14 kills.
That was
the only double digits in this game.
Yeah, we haven't actually seen any solo single player actually managing to get double digits at all so far.
Pilat did a good job, though. I mean, considering he wasn't playing with AXT in the first day, we've seen nothing short of impressive performances from him.
Yep.
And this was a great play from him today with 5 kills on the board. Clown had a couple as well. We saw him play well in their initial rounds. So AXT did a good job. But I do want to give some credit to some of the MEA players because they actually, again, really were able to split a lot of kills. So all of them carrying a bit of weight.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of their members getting, 3 of their members getting 2 kills is really good news for them. I think the last player maybe even got 1 or 0. So either way, pretty good performance by them. And also a few of the other teams like IQM also got a couple of kills and did decently well. But we can't take away from the storyline, guys. 70. I mean, just congrats to them.
Brilliant
that was
stuff.
an insane play.
I mean, really can't take anything away from them. They had some kills stacked before they lost all of their members, but it was like some hectic firefights, and you usually think, all right, that's the point where you're going to be waiting off and hiding. But the way the circle played, the rock that Reef found, and he truly proved that he could be the rock for the team, clutching it out against 4 other squads.
You know what? I think this might actually place 7T above AXT now on the leaderboard.
I think you're right. Well, the thing is, though, AXT did get a second place, so we're gonna look into it in just a bit. But let's start comparing a couple of our players. And this is actually Emmy Assassins again going up against SB, who were knocked out a little bit earlier on. And Emmy Assassins again across the board actually had some pretty good stats, but they were split player to player. So I'd love to see that breakdown.
Yeah, let's have a look at the players in a moment, but look at that damage spread across them. MEA, again, just above with the 2 extra kills. That kind of makes sense, about 200 damage between them. So the difference, which makes sense with the 2 extra kills. Match points is going to be 18 points for MEA then, and 12 just for SB, not too bad.
Kills, yeah. Here was how we see the split.
Let's have a look at Guns here. He does get about 200 damage.
Pretty comparable, actually, between Guns and Azrael. And those have both been pretty big standout performers on their teams. Like, maybe not standout for their teams specifically, but just in general, they've been, at the very least, serviceable. So the floor has been quite high.
Yeah, the team members that we actually recognize from those members, there's a couple that we may not recognize. I mean, if you have a look at this, for example, both of these guys getting 0 kills, a couple of, like, a bit decent amount of damage.
This was a bad game for Wasim, actually, because he's had some clutch plays, and this time around he wasn't able to get much before he got taken out. Shah Fatias, we've seen him survive a little longer, but also he's not typically the player that gets all the kills for that squad either. But Falstein is the guy that tends to survive to the end, and you could see it in the distance gone twice as much as his opposite number there in Adir Malka. That is actually pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, what's also huge is the fact that Adir Malka actually got 2 kills and only 26 damage. So that's a lot of damage lower than you should actually have for getting 2 kills. So and then obviously there as well we do see Ori get 0 kills, but same amount of damage as the opposition with who had 2 kills.
Yeah, well, SB kind of got into that early firefight with 17 that really sort of hurt their chances for getting any further in that game, whereas you saw MEA doing a little bit better. But of course, if you missed that match or missed any of the matches, want to catch up on all that stuff, you can get the information, including the standings and all of our player rosters, over at our website. It is clubopen.pubgmobile.com, and you can get that for all the regions, not just MEA, but of course, that's the one you want, right?
Definitely.
That's
I mean,
the best one.
You got to go check them out. I mean, there's going to be a lot of stats you're going to need to track across the board. But you know what? If you don't want to watch all the games at once, and if you just want to watch certain games, there's obviously a way to do that as well.
Absolutely. You can go to our YouTube channel. It is youtube.com/PUBGMOBILE Esports. Hit that subscribe button, and you will get access to all of the channels where we're broadcasting all of the PUBG Club Open, PUBG Mobile Club Open, excuse me.
Yeah, and don't forget to ding-dong that notification bell.
Absolutely. So you do not miss a single minute of it. And honestly, it has been all action, so exciting. And we're seeing teams really start to come into their own here. Really exciting to see what happens in our final map on Erangel. But before that, we've got to take a quick break. We will be right back, so don't you go anywhere. We'll know if you do.
Royale Pass Season 6 is here. This season's theme is 1 year anniversary of PUBG Mobile, with lots of rare items. We've also added lots of more realistic and hardcore items to your Royale Pass rewards. Turn yourself into an elite soldier. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up, so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass.
Ha! Gotcha. Royale Pass. You deserve it.
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile. Be the one.
Zombie, Darkest Night, the newest mode in the zombie universe, is here. This time, the rules are different. No more parachuting, as players will be placed at random locations on the map when the match begins, and there is no single winner. Players must work with their teammates to spend one long night in the match and stay alive until the sun comes up. Waves and waves of zombies will spawn during each of the 3 foggy periods at night, and supplies should only be scavenged when the fog fades. The main objective is not to defeat other players, though this doesn't mean they are harmless. Players may need to work with other teams when necessary, but should also watch their backs in case the Fragile Alliance goes south. This will be a unique experience for every player involved. This new mode also comes with a passive skill for every player. Understanding these skills will be the key to staying alive in this long night. Can you ride out the night?
Royale Pass Season 6 is here. This season's theme is 1 year anniversary of PUBG Mobile, with lots of rare items. We've also added lots of more realistic and hardcore items to your Royale Pass rewards. Turn yourself into an elite soldier. UC spent in Royale Pass will be fully refunded as your Royale Pass ranks up, so you can buy next season's pass. Royale Pass.
gotcha. Royale Pass. You deserve it.
Do you play PUBG Mobile? Maybe you never run out of stamina. Maybe you're always aware of your surroundings. Maybe you're an amazing cook with the pan. Maybe you're a great driver. But as soon as you hear the sound of an airplane, you get into the zone. In PUBG Mobile, you all come from different walks in life. But you face the same dangers on the battleground. And you become friends. You work together to overcome the obstacles. This is PUBG Mobile. There's a number one in all of us. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile first anniversary party. PUBG Mobile. Be the one.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to the PUBG Mobile Club Open. My name is still Pyrotechnics, and he is still Tom Pickering, also known as We Free Men. What's up, dude?
Woo! Let's get it on. We're going into our final game of day 3, and it's been an impressive showing. Our last game ended up with a massive 14 kill spree from Reef.
How about that, man? What a hard carry for 7T.
And in total, I mean, they got 17 kills, so it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, kind of seems to work for them. And also impressive was AXT getting into that second place finish after 2 chicken dinners on Sanhok and Vikendi, but we do go into another Erangel map. Looking forward to seeing how that goes, but here are the standings, and 7T have leapfrogged over AXT with a 8-point lead. The placement points are exactly the same, so it is all about those kills. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter how much you give for placement points. Some teams will find a way to frag out.
That is just insane. You have to give them mad props for being able to get 53 kills in total so far. I think, I mean, that is the best we've seen in total. I mean, if we have a look at TRD, they're going to be down, I think it was on 31 or 36 kills, which was insane by its own right. And they may even be able to catch up, but we've got one more game, and we're going to be able to see potentially maybe even a couple of these teams move up.
Yeah, and we see a couple of them. IQM, they've moved up into the 12th place position. SMP actually got themselves into 14th. They've been very slowly creeping up the standings. Now, they had a rough last game on Erangel, but I think based on the performance we've had earlier today, we should look to see a little more out of them. And now we will see them closer to the bottom. I'm kind of preempting a little bit, but I want to see where 963 end up, because that was easily the best round they've had. They placed 3rd, and they will get themselves into an 18th position, tying with UN. Holy moly. And they got almost, all of their frags in that game as well. They were just so good at actually staying alive to the finish.
Yeah, so they got 3 frags that game and 2 kills on Vikendi, so it's pretty impressive. They are actually starting to warm up into it. Is it too late? We'll have to see. There's still a lot of game. There's still a lot of time to go. I mean, there's still another weekend, rather, of this. I think they will be still playing quite a few different games than that one, so we will see. But we've got moving down our leaderboard. We are going to be seeing a lot of teams still not really doing much. RBK haven't played any games today.
Yeah, this is actually none of the teams that are currently playing today.
Yeah, so we're actually fairly sorted. So we're actually seeing quite positive movement for a lot of these teams, as can be expected. But nonetheless, been a pretty interesting day.
Yeah, I think that last game, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it, I think that was the best quality PUBG Mobile match we've had here in the MEA region so far. Now, it is only 3 days into the competition, so, I mean, obviously that has plenty of chances to change, but I do think TRD looks like so far in a way the most dominant team in their group. However, 7T have a clutch factor, and also AXT are incredibly impressive. Now, if you did miss some of the matches before, especially with the likes of The Real Deal, you can, of course, always find all of the information, VODs, as well as standings and the player rosters located over at our website. It is clubopen.pubgmobile.com.
Yep, and I mean, there's so much information to be able to take in that you may not want to just listen to it from us. You may want to watch some more of the videos back, alongside the standings. So
you can get that information over at our YouTube channels, youtube.com/PUBGMOBILE Esports. And of course, after you hit that subscribe button, make sure you ding-dong the bell, get those notifications so you do not miss a moment of any of the action here at the Club Open.
Stole my line. Classic Devon.
I was
stealing
going
my
for
ding-dong.
It was my last chance of the day, so I was going for it. Hey, ring your shame bell all you want. I'll ring it right back at you, my friend.
Okay.
Do you have one? I was going to say, I'm really impressed, actually.
I wish I had a bell. That would be quite funny, but maybe next time. We'll see. But returning into Erangel, we're going to have the plane coming down from Stalba all the way down to Primorsk, and it's going to allow teams to... Yeah. Should say a little bit faster, but yeah, I'll get him into bad habits there. And Pachinki's here. Well, are we going to be seeing more than MEA land there this time?
We only saw one landing at Pachinki, and there were so many chances for teams to actually occupy it for a while. But unlike yesterday where we had big Pachinki shootouts, this time around it was a circle centered a little bit to the south of it. However, early drops starting to come in. SMP, they're actually going to be dropping up there and heading over to Severny. And looks like Rush to Crush might be thinking about heading out there, but they have not had the best of luck at holding compounds against other teams.
Yeah, so I don't think we're going to be seeing many players go over towards military. You may well get one or two when they sort of goes lower down. I think it was VW who they headed over there last time.
And then Nox kind of took the longest road trip ever. They took the boat all the way around from Lipovka, I believe, and then came all the way onto the south end of the island as the circle had moved north.
Yeah, and it's actually going to be AXT potentially going over there. Or
they like Ferry Pier.
Yeah, they may well stick around Ferry Pier and Quarry. They did do that before. It seems like that is going to be the case. We're going to be seeing 963 and VW drop out now, which seems like they are going to contend for that one spot.
Ooh, I would run away if I'm 963. They had a great job of surviving, but up against
and
Aix early could be rough. And there's the circle. This time it goes to the north side, so nobody landing on military base definitely works out. This is actually great for SMP because they're going to be almost unopposed here up at Severny, except for...
That is Nox.
There's one more team, Nox. Okay, so maybe not. Maybe they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. I would go over to shooting range.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I mean, there is enough room for you guys for them to be able to sort of stay in there, but there's not enough loot, I don't feel, for you to be very healthy. But they are going to be able to get up a bit, and they may want to cross over and try and get a sort of positional advantage against these guys, and maybe into Church as well, where you can get the high advantage against Thanos and his team of goons.
Thanos does have a team of goons.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Reference point.
There's some real bad dudes. All right, here's a little bit of Yasnaya action. 7T post up against SB. 7T were the chicken dinner winners last time around. And honestly, I mean, all the team is good. There's a reason we talk up 7T as one of our teams to watch. But Reef just put himself on a whole nother level last game.
Yeah, I mean, like I said at the end of last game, there's a reason why the team is sort of named after him. And after he gets 14 kills by himself, which is just insane, it's more than majority of the teams have all together in the whole of the tournament so far, and he just pretty much outdid all of them, which is insane. But we're going to see School over here as well. This is one of the first.
Here.
Yeah, we haven't really seen too much action around this way, and this circle may well encourage some action over towards the School and these apartment buildings as well. In the meantime, we're going to be seeing one of the teams going for a slight rotation
Rush
here.
to Crush. Just driving through the open landscape. Now, 69 SWAT's there too.
Were Rush to Crush in the last game?
Yeah, they were. They just went out really early.
Oh.
Yeah, they honestly, Rush to Crush have just continued this trend of getting dropped early on. They were so good in their very first match, and it looks like it's happening again. Lashin does get dropped down, though, so it's an all-out early firefight. 69 SWAT actually losing members. Lashin down on his hands and knees, and he gets taken out by Tupac.
If he wasn't by himself, he might have been able to wipe those guys. He's down 2, and he's by himself, so it's a bit of a shame. But moving forward, I mean, this is the first time we're going to be seeing Yasnaya sort of challenged against
that wasn't anywhere near the circle last time around, right?
Yeah, I mean, they obviously couldn't see the circle at the beginning, so it was a bit of the flight path. Some guys sort of they decided to go for their more sort of stronger paths. We are going to be seeing VW down here looting up at the moment. They have a fairly long time, and they should be able to have a decent time of things.
Yeah, K are there too, but they're far enough away. And I think one thing you want to give VW credit for is that they do manage to avoid early firefights. It's just in the mid game when the map shrinks, they run out of room, and they don't ever seem to know what to do.
It's a little bit like, well, we've got our hands in our pants. What are we going to do? And they just end up sitting around, not really having no idea what to do. They're not one of the teams that's going to drive around looking for fights. They just sort of station up and just wait, which, to be fair, is the correct way to play this rule set. So fair play to them. In the meantime, we are going to switch on over, or snap on over towards the Severny and see potentially a bit of a firefight.
All right, so it's compounds across the road here. SMP, they're doing a 3-1 split. Meanwhile, Nox are a little bit more evenly across the way. 2 members in the forward house and a couple more off to the side. Nox had a pretty good placement this time around, too. They would have liked to go a little higher than 4th, but they are still keeping on the up and up. Seif going to realize there's some fire going on, and he goes up to the high ground, or 2nd floor, I should say. Meanwhile, Thanos is kind of viewing this all from above.
if these guys manage to take out Nox, that'd be pretty good for Snap because it means they get early kills. They also get the position at the top of the circle as well.
Oh, a little bit of damage.
He did peek out with his arm, and he got told to put it away.
Yep.
Don't throw that grenade at us.
Yeah, it's a warning shot. Looks like it's Dr. Luz who's being the most active here. He's going to go and rejoin Galiko, so it's a 2-2 split now going on for the Nox members.
I do appreciate this because we see most teams that don't tend to play like this, but the more we get into this tournament, it seems like more we see teams pick up good habits, not the sort of bad habits of just staying in one car. We've actually seen them separate. This
is the thing. Nox definitely have solid tactics. You know, they might be rocking umbrella pans, but they're playing a lot more like stars, to be honest.
Exactly, yeah. And
if you get that reference, you are cool by me.
I do not, so I'm not cool.
Go play Resident Evil, my dude. Cool mode it. Nice! That nade onto Ben, though.
Kobe.
Snap buying their time. He sinks the shot.
That was brilliant, but unfortunately, due to the position, unless they down 2 people and get a bunch of smokes out, they can't go for the push. It's very difficult. They are going for another nade, but it's in a completely wrong position here. But he gets
into the house!
There.
How did he thread that needle?
That is insane.
That is absolutely and he's even covering them. This is brilliant now from these Snap members.
Okay, I've got to give him massive props for that, because that's such a distance and such a small target.
Yeah, so we're talking good tactics on the Nox side, but it's good aim from SMP.
I think Nox is just like, hang on a minute, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Who stopped aiming at his hand?
Yeah, they get everybody back up, but yeah, there's a smoke cover in the way. So this first engagement here, some free fire going.
Yeah, I mean, that smoke was really for them to be able to try and cross over to them, but we're actually going to switch on over to back over towards Yasnaya, rather, and it seems like 70 aren't going to be facing any fights here. Control's going to be jumping in the same vehicle, it seems. Or maybe.
Oh, wait, guys!
Okay.
Took off with, man, that feels bad. They're back. Just kidding.
This is just like a comical. You could imagine them in like comments right now. I was like, ha ha ha.
Yep. Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
Yeah, unfortunately, they do decide to stay in the same vehicle, but at the same time, I think it's because they realized that they were getting contended.
Ben's knocked again.
Ooh.
We got to check back at that fight, man. SMP are looking really good. And the thing is, at the start of today, you would have looked at these two teams and thought, nah, this is an easy win for Nox. Easy. This is just a team that is so superior in these firefights. But it's not been the case.
Snap
SMP have been the better one.
Yeah, Snap have actually shown up today, and they've actually played very well. They didn't have a very good game on Vikendi, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they did. That's where we really started to peek our eyebrows up and said, maybe they're not quite as bad as it's looked.
It was actually Erangel the last game. They didn't have a great one. Because I think they got wiped out. But hopefully this time they can, because they've actually repositioned very well. Now, this is what I want to be seeing.
Here we go. Seif on the front line. And they've got another knock. This time it's on to Maurice. Thanos gets him down and out. First casualty here.
Now, Dr. Luz has got the DP 28, so he's going to be able to hold down the fort against these guys who are over towards the farm building, the barn, and they're going to be going in for the cross.
Running, though. Oh, boy, he's going to get lit up, and Dr. Luz gets some revenge onto Snap. Oh, boy. Well, he's out of there. It's too bad he didn't have himself an Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, and Steve is actually going to be missing a lot of shots here, just hitting the wall, and then he's going to have his teammate cross on over to him momentarily.
Meanwhile, AXT are in a firefight with KS. We don't see that one on the screen there, but it's a couple of blows traded back and forth.
So we sort of take a little bit of a slowdown here.
Yeah.
These
a little
guys
calm before the action.
Before the storm, as it were.
Well, the storm is all the way off in the distance.
But look at this, actually. It's going to be the guys pushing against...
Seif just knows. He's got to get the heck out of there. He's like, wait a minute. We're down to 3. It's a 3v3 fight, in all fairness. Maurice is already out of there, and so is Thanos, but Seif is all by his lonesome for the time being while all 3 of Nox are pushed together.
This actually did prove like good communication, and he tries to get the shot out, and he's using the barrel here, not the AK, and he's trying to get his hits in.
He's down by Galiko, though, meanwhile. Oh, boy, trying to play over the cover. This is such a tense one right now. Seif doesn't have anywhere to go. Trying to back up and away and rejoin his team, but he's not being allowed to by Nox. And they're just firing through. No man's land here.
There's not very much they can do here at the moment.
Hold on a second. He might have the shot.
No.
Fires through. No, this time. And he just gives his position away. Seif, how long can he stand up here?
I'm not sure what he's going to have to do. He's going to back away over to this opening.
He's
going to go for the shots.
Seif, he's looking for the breach around. Unfortunately, he gets taken down to half his health, but he does manage to get one knock. Looking for a second one as he dips, ducks, dives, and dodges. Gets a second, and Nox are not safe in this just yet. Ben, the only one standing. Oh. He's got Seif. But there's still one more remaining member across the road. It's a 1v1 effectively until everyone gets back up and rezzed, and Ben's going to start it. This is going to leave the runner open.
Oh no, it's looking very desperate here, but he's going to be peeking in. Who's
Oh, didn't have it. And it's going to be Nox that take the fight at the end of the day. It was all down to Ben.
Ben coming in with the clutch. What play coming in from them. Got to give them mad points for that. I mean, that was so... It was down to the wire. It was...
You know...
But kind of what happened there is actually it was an M4 versus UMP. M4 has a higher sort of DPS rate.
And he had
UMP,
better aim.
Yeah, I mean, it just really comes into that front. So let's have a look at a replay of this situation here. Of the healing.
This is all the way back to the beginning of the fights where we started seeing the nades come through.
Oh, look at that spray actually coming in.
Yeah, that was Ben getting down. Getting downed anyways. And I think it just seemed that that player at distance played a lot better. And this kind of feels bad if you're Snap, because you go out in 14th place, and the way you were playing, you really shouldn't have. You just had the misfortune to cross Nox, and they outplayed you at the end.
I think they were sort of pretty much on equal ground in there, but unfortunately, one of them had to come first, and it was just Nox's day to sort of arrive at that point. So well played to Ben, and we're going to head on over to the school.
All right, it's KS taking on AXT. Now, AXT have 2 chicken dinners and a second place finish here, coming on Erangel. So they definitely seem to be favored in the way they're playing out in KS here. You know, give them some credit. They got cojones to try and get the breach on, but it's Ahmed going to get dropped down. Meanwhile, he does manage to take somebody from AXT down with him. Ebo looking to come up top. Demon gets taken out by Ari.
This is not so good for AXT. They've lost a member right now.
AXT had to be smacking their lips right now. They have to feel pretty happy that AXT are locked in an early firefight over here. School is seemingly not AXT's friends. Rush to Crush getting lit up by MEA. Rush and Tupac both getting dropped out. Rush to Crush going to go through to try and get his teammates back up, but MEA just looking so much better in this one, and they should be able to take them down unless there can be a huge outplay, and I don't think it's in the cards for Rush to Crush.
Too easy for them in this point of view. I mean, they try pushing with the one car, and this is pretty much what's going to happen.
Goodbye, Demu.
It wasn't even worth like arguing over. They were dead at that point. They tried driving over towards the drop, the crate, and unfortunately MEA were already there, and because they were in one vehicle, they got screwed. So that being a reminder for all you teams, if you're listening, don't play in one car. Play smart.
Actually, the car didn't blow, but everybody got dropped out of it, so pretty easy. Only one target. It makes a lot of sense here. And now we'll have 69 SWAT and KA going up against one another. They're playing in the blue, though.
Yes, they will all slowly be taking ticks of damage every so often here, which is going to slowly wear them down, and they have to be very careful. But we'll see what ends up coming out of these two teams.
Is already dead. Mustafa is unable to get out of anywhere at this point, so he's in trouble. So it looks like it's just going to be 2 members of 69 SWAT, and Ahmad, he's out of there on a bike.
Ooh, that was so close. He gets a couple of shots out, MBJ onto Ahmad, but doesn't actually end up coming up too much unless he can get this peek through the gap.
Mustafa gets healed. And now we're going back to this fight between KS and AXT, who are down to 2 members. One of them is driving, so I don't know where Clown is. Palat is kind of holed up here on his lonesome this side of School.
Yes, they're actually in the swimming pool building. He dives out, and that's going to be the end of it.
Yep, School's out for AXT right now. KS are going to own it. Clown is going to be the last man standing, so he'll just be playing for placement points. All the same, 2 chicken dinners and a second place finish. Yep. Even if this game is a total wash for them, it's still a good day.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they do get into the... I think they need to try and get into the sort of top 6 with a couple of kills, but if they don't really have many kills, then they really need to try and aim in for that top 4, but that's seemingly a bit unlikely. But we have seen other teams do it, and if they have pro that telling them what to do, they may well be able to achieve that goal. But nonetheless, Circle has closed in. It's going to be sort of almost half-half on either side of Rozhok, majority on the side of Severny, and that's going to favour teams like Nox, who are currently at Crossroads at the moment, and then we have 7T, who are in a pretty decent position. AXT,
as always.
Yeah, I mean, their plays are great.
They just know. They play so well around circle positioning. They play so well overall, and they execute when it counts. One of the reasons why they are one of our top teams, but we are checking in with MEA. Now, this was a squad that went out in 6th last time in Erangel, looking to improve on that position, but there are still 12 teams up and available. And they don't yet have a frag, but what they do have is a pretty solid position in these 2 compounds.
Yeah, I mean, they can actually take quite a few shots at different people. They're on the side of the river with the majority of land, so it gives them an opportunity to be able to shoot at people who do rotate on over to them. And talking of which, we are going to be seeing 963 still alive.
The underdogs really performed last time around with that 3rd place finish.
And so 17 are actually going to be fighting against MEA, so it's pretty much the top and bottom. Top dogs versus the bottom dogs here of MEA. No one's really hitting many shots, though.
Guns is taking some pot shots, though, unfortunately for him. So while it was long distance, it looks like 963 do lose 1 member. Oh. In fact, they lose 2. Unfortunately, they just run into a sniper's nest, it seems, or rather some ARs.
Yeah,
on
he
the
got
opposite
run
side.
over the end, and look at this crash going to be coming in against 7T.
Well, that is not the opponent you want to be running anywhere near. Now, they do manage to zoom their way to the opposite side. but not before taking heavy fire. You got to hand it to 963. They are never afraid to just hit the go switch.
Absolutely nuts coming out from them. Chaos still hiding in school right now. They have spotted out VW.
That's Dr. Aluz. Nox running an early firefight here, and it looks like it's going to be TUB just playing some vehicles.
Oh.
Is this PUBG Mobile or Grand Theft Auto?
Seems like it's Grand Theft Auto. They're trying to prove us wrong with just driving with all 4 members in their car, and it's just a gun show. This is not something you see at all.
Yeah, we really don't see that very often.
Yeah, no, this is insane. That's the second time we've seen it, because they did that to 963, knocked out one of the players, and then ran him over, which was pretty hilarious to see. And then they're still alive at this point with all 4 members in their car, especially considering they drove so close to 7T. But MEA still in the same position, 7T across the way in the 2 buildings, and then we've got the care package over here next to IQM.
Yeah, IQM actually dead center of the circle right now, and there's nobody around them. In fact, they're going to be within this next circle here. Clown has found himself a care package, but that one has already been opened, so I think it's been there for a little while.
So the hillside that, actually Mustafa, they are potentially going to be playing up against these guys. They're pushing.
MEA starting on the fight, but they're pushing into 7T. A dangerous prospect at the best of times.
That was, so it was actually 69 squad who are going up against them. MEA in the same position, so they're actually taking shots onto 69 SWAT and getting the knocks here and potentially finishes. 7T could actually push up into this hillside, which is actually one of the better positions.
69 SWAT have really only had one good game today, and that was on Vikendi, where they ended up getting into the 3rd place position. Right now, they're kind of looking a little bit more like cannon fodder.
Indeed, yeah, they've not really had the best of games. VW, though, looking to try and have a bit of a better game this time round.
They're still healthy.
Yeah, driving away from school. They're going to be
well, this summer.
Exactly.
It's got to be a good feeling for sure, but they've done their best to avoid all of the opposition. 69 SWAT, only down to 1 player remaining. SB, they've had a very quiet round over here on Sanhok.
And they're outside of the blue, well, outside the circle. They will be inside the blue at the moment, so they will be able to get inside fairly easily. Chaos going to be rotating as well, right behind SB.
34 players still alive with 11 teams representing here, and it looks like TUB going to run afoul of MEA, but they have the high ground advantage.
Apparently that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, I don't know if MEA really care about that. They didn't see Star Wars.
Ooh, that grenade was fairly decent, but
right inside the house.
He got it.
They do get it down. Nicely done. Oh, who needs a high ground? And VW are coming in just to throw some chaos, a spanner in the works here. And it's going to be a 3-team all-out brawl right now. And while VW are running interference, it looks like MEA should be able to take this on the breach.
Yeah, MEA should just chuck a couple more grenades in there, which is exactly what they're looking to do.
Clown is just watching this unfold, by the way. The last remaining member of AXT just kind of laughing to himself.
He's like, what are these guys doing? They're clowning around, which is still a strange situation, but we're going to potentially see actually TUV going out here.
VW did a solid for MEA.
Oh, definitely.
They just ran in there and tanked everything, and MEA just basically get a free breach right now. It's only 1 member remaining, and he's going to get pretty easily taken out of that. So TUB meet their fate inside the house they were holed up in.
Yeah, just to say on that one as well, they actually finished off the down player first and then killed the last player 6-1 of TUB. So instead of just getting 1 kill, they do actually get 2 kills because they didn't down that player in the first place. So that's actually quite important to note because every kill counts for these guys because they've got quite a long way to go.
Do VW still have a player up? Looking at the minimap right now.
I think they do, yeah. 3 should be VW if I'm right in saying. Somehow.
Some way.
He got
We'll have to check. We'll have to check on that one because we do know AXT still have Clown up and available. There's a handful of teams that are still sitting there with just 1 playing for the position only. 963 still have 3 players healthy.
Yeah.
See if they can last a little longer. SB, they have everybody. They haven't actually ran into a fight so far. Very quiet game for the SB boys.
Yeah, it looks like they are right next in 963, which most people are happy to do so. Up until last game, 963 weren't really much of a team to be afraid of. But last game, they did manage to pick up 3 kills and also hold their position very well.
Stepping up
they
on
did
the
a
ring.
lot of damage, to be fair.
Yeah, and 963 had had such a rough tournament up until that point. They were not able to find a single kill up until the round preceding it. And it just always been knocked out early, but not for lack of trying. Yeah. They did play with so much heart. It's good to see that finally paying some dividends off. Now, question is, can they come in and outplay SB, who I'm pretty sure have been one of the teams that's been knocking them about earlier on? And look at this new circle. It's going to favor SB pretty heavily, actually.
Yeah, I mean, MEA are still in here. 70 are going to have to rotate on down over to them.
That's a lot of smokes.
Yeah, I mean, they just want to push on over. SB want to take that building. They need some hard cover.
And they found one down onto Jisnaya. Did they have more in the tank here? It's just a heavy, heavy round. SB not taking any return damage here as 963 are just playing the defense game.
Yeah, they're going to be able to get a couple of grenades off it.
Oh boy, that's dead center.
Hands. Oh my god.
Back away, 963. They're trying for it, dodging. There's so many nades coming their way. If they could outplay, this would be an absolute miracle here. But on the peak, SB just looks so much better. It's a 1-for-1 trade. However, BCL is able to come up with one.
That's insane. BCL.
Here's Azrael.
Out.
On the. Oh man, he still gets the down. Just firing it out. Hip fire on those SMGs.
Just there, right at the moment, just hiding behind this car.
Just Lorenz, I think, is the only one that actually is back, is off. No, he's on his knees too. It is Yes9 is the only one. I think this is where 963 end, unfortunately. They're going to get wiped off the map, and SB take their house.
So we're going to be seeing KA rotate on up over towards the fight as well. They can hear all the shots, but they can't see anything.
MEA, they take out SB in kind. I think that's actually everybody. No, there's still 2 more left, excuse me. MEA were just taking shots from the distance. And it's Clown. Look at where he's coming up, just keeping out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, so it was actually, so VW did go out in that fight earlier on, and now 7T are going to be joining in with MEA, trying to fight for that position.
Abbas does manage to get a good nade here, and I think 7T might have seen it a little bit too late. Fazza is going to get taken down, and the car gets blown as well. Reef already crawling around, and it looks like it's going to be Wasim to finish this off. 7T lose 2 members. Disaster striking right there, including their clutch player, Reef.
Oh, so unfortunate, and they're going to be pushing against him, but he's got the M249. It's a beast gun, I told you. And he's going to go in for the final kill here, potentially.
Looks like Control should be going down. That's going to be it for 7T. They go out in 8th place. However, still an insanely good round for them previously. But what a nade there coming out of MEA, who have shown up to play today. Ah, look at that. Clown caught out in the open. It's going to be Abbas that takes him. MEA have so many kills in this game. And AXT go out in 7th.
It's insane. This is the best performance we've seen from them all together. I did see potential in them in the first games, but they then dropped off the face of the map. But today, they are back. And it seems like they may well be able to get a couple of kills in this, and maybe even a couple of positions as well.
Well, it shows that VW's sacrifice was not in vain there. MEA said, "Thank you so much. We're going to do everything we can to step it up here." One team we haven't talked about is KA, sitting here on 2 members. They're just right off to the edge of the circle, but they will have to move in. Oh, they have 3 now actually, and there is still 1 member. It's IQM's Mustafa that's still alive.
Yeah, so it wasn't VW. VW did go down to MEA and the other team that was with them. Somehow, IQM still staying alive at the moment, which is a bit impressive. KS going to be moving up the hill, though.
They have such a quiet round here. They will run into KA. SB, still all 4 members strong, occupying the house that they managed to nab away by taking down 963. But MEA seem to be in the best position, even with guns down.
Yeah, and 69 SWAT is actually going to be going over and trying to join in the fray very soon, but that circle is going to be pushing MEA out of their comfort zone, out of their buildings, into a new area, and they're going to be going in 1 car, which is a big mistake.
Yeah, here, last member of KA is actually sitting on the outskirts of all of this with the Jeep to himself. So let's see if he'll end up rejoining his team. KS do manage to get 1 down from SB as they're trying for a split, getting covered here by the KS members. MEA, meanwhile, are able to get into a nice high ground position and start taking shots onto the KA members.
So I think Adrenalka forgot that you actually need to have some hard cover, and he just laid down in the open. Got to take it down.
Look at this. Abbas has been so good. 6 kills. He actually is playing like a boss right now. Nade's out. Let's see if he finds Golden Boy over there. KS. SB losing another one, this time to Ebo of KS.
That's insane. MEA have so many kills. They have 16 kills.
And they got a buggy, too, to actually reposition. This is really great right now. Palestine. Oh, he finds MBJ of 69 SWAT. Wasim, though, fired down by Las. So MEA is not 100% safe in this position.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for them. Palestine's going to be looking to go in for the rotation here. They need to get a better position on the map, and with this car, it allows them to do exactly that. This tree will do. He does crashes.
I mean, you might as well at that point. It's all about getting in cover fast, and Palestine using the car for cover gets lost down. Abbas actually is the one who gets the kill credit for it.
And he should be able to pick up their team member there right next to them, but KA could actually recover from this and come and fight them, which would be a bit unfortunate, but they do have the verticality sort of, from Palestine who can help them out now.
Going to have Samurai actually backing away. It's him and Muhammad.
Yeah, he's trying to use that vehicle as cover so he doesn't get spotted, but they are now going to go in for the peak, and they have the height advantage.
Look at Abbas and Wasim creeping around the side on the low ground. Samurai, meanwhile, using this blown car for cover.
Molotov going in.
Abbas.
Oh, no.
He falls down. You hate to see that, for sure, but he can rejoin his team pretty safely. Wasim, meanwhile, is going to open fire up into Muhammad. Into the tree he goes. It looks like Ebo's going to get 1 down, though. Meanwhile, while it's happening, and this final circle looking pretty spicy. Muhammad's down. It's Abbas. Ahmed actually ends up getting one of the kill credits for that. No, it's Wasim who picks it up, and he also gets Mohamed. So down in 4th place is going to be KA, courtesy of MEA, but KS says thank you very much. That opens it up for us to fire on you.
I think MEA might even have 19 kills now, which is just crazy. They're trying to top the 20-kill top mark that we have had previously. They've actually got 20 kills. This is insane.
You gotta be kidding me. And if they can get a chicken dinner, that's insane. Our record is 50 points, 30 for placement, and a 20-kill spread covered by the real deal on our day 1.
Yeah, they are going to be able to loot up from these bodies as well. So it may well be pretty decent for them. Mustafa is actually laying down. It's just a little bit of an observer bug there.
I don't think they know that he's there.
No, KS are potentially going to get backstabbed here. And the circle is in KS's favor. So they're not going to... They potentially might not even check behind them here. So Mustafa could stay alive until a 1v4.
Not the first time we've seen IQM do this. Last time it was with Tomb. But Mustafa, seeing if he can really follow up that performance right now. It is a 1v4, v3. But there is that X factor with Mustafa. See what he can get done here as MEA are forced to move first due to the circle closing on them.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a good time, but Falastine is going to rotate on over to his teammates, and it's actually going to be right over towards Falastine, so not careful. And
he's going to get dropped down. Ebo had the sights on him, true. A little bit unfortunate there for Falastine as he was just a little too fast. Wasim going to go creep crawling through, see if he can get a good position, but Ari might see him. Ebo's backed away as well. This is tough here. Ari is actually going to get dropped down by Abbas. Wasim, he'll get the finishing kill, but he gets knocked in kind. Ebo gets Wasim down.
This is just so unfortunate. They're so close to each other.
Look at Mustafa biding his time.
He's just waiting. Who's going to bump into him first? It may even be Abbas. He may actually accidentally bump into the one solo member.
All right, snake mode engaged here.
Everybody's just moving about.
Wasim gets finished off by Golden Boy. Abbas opens fire, but he doesn't quite find his mark. A few shots is all he gets. Looking over to get to the tree where Falastine is. Needs to get his teammate up. It's a 2v3 situation, but Mustafa is still in the mix here. And Ebo getting one down, getting two, and it looks like that will be it for MEA going out in 3rd place. And now they're wondering, where the heck is Mustafa?
He is a one-man army. Can he do anything here? He's laying in the grass like a snake. And now they're going to be all around him.
Okay, does not want to give his position away. You got to think this is heavily favored for KS. The best chance they've had at taking a chicken dinner here.
Look at those boxes. They've got clowns on them.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Look at this Molotov, though. Going out. He's giving away his position. Now
Ahmed's moved.
Ahmed's going to be taking a couple of shots, but the return
into the smoke. This is actually helping Mustafa right now.
They don't know exactly where he is. He's got a silencer on, it seems. He's going to be taking a couple of shots here.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me right now. This is such a tense moment. They're just blind firing, hoping that they found the spot for him right now, and he can just stay still as he possibly can. KA looking to get an angle around the side. Here's Golden Boy, but he gets knocked down. Mustafa still in this one. They're not finding him. They've got Stormtrooper syndrome. Are you kidding me? It's a 1v1 now.
He's going to be able to look to take on the final one. Ahmed takes a couple of shots, gives away his position. Mustafa has it all to lose. He could easily 1v3 this situation from Snake to Hero. The painkillers coming in from Ahmed.
Man, if Mustafa gets this one, this is even more legendary than what Tomb was doing earlier on. It's up there with 7T's play. Maybe not as many players, but still to do this while everyone is all around you. Mustafa's going to try to get the kill credit so he gets a few extra points for his team.
It's actually IBO getting in the information for Ahmed, so Ahmed knows exactly what to do and how to position himself. This is good team play coming in from KS.
You got to, as long as you're down. But can Ahmed squeeze the shot off? Get Mustafa. He's crawling to the side. It looks like he's got Ebo finished off. Ahmed, though, going to start laying down the fire, but he still doesn't find his mark.
He gives away his position, and I think he's going to have to move first. And the grenade is going to go out to Ahmed. Ahmed's going to have to stand and run, I think. Oh, it's a flashbang.
Yeah, flashbang. Okay, we got a little debated on that one, but Ahmed's still moving right now. Full clip in his gun. If he stands, though, Mustafa should have the angle on him.
Ahmed has the advantage. Mustafa's going to have to crest this hill, which is not going to be so great, if I'm right in saying.
So Ahmed just needs to watch and wait. Sneaky Snake has to come to him. This is so tense, though.
Yeah, Mustafa, we're all hoping he can get it. The blue's about to touch him, though. If that blue touches him
It's on Ahmed as well.
He's got it.
Oh, boy. Here's the view from above. He's found a brush that he can line of sight hide between, but now he's actually had to move a little bit more out into the open, but he's still a little bit on the low ground. Ahmed does not quite see him as he creepy crawls around. Oh,
he might even be able to get a grenade from here. He's going to be able to pick up a couple of things, and Ahmed, even if he peeks right now, probably won't see him straight off the bat.
We rarely see it go to this length of time right now, and it looks like grenade is primed from Mustafa. Does his aim get
Just to the
Truitt's
right.
just a little bit to the edge, and he's actually going the wrong direction, giving away the position again.
Oh, there we go. We do switch on over. So he should be fairly certain now. He should know where Ahmed is.
And the blue is starting to pass him by, though. Ahmed has to creep forward. Sooner or later, these two have to meet.
Oh no, they're going to be going around to the same side. Any moment, the two snakes are going to be. But I think Ahmed, he's about to get hit by the blue, but so is Mustafa.
Much damage.
Mustafa, don't get hit by that blue.
This can't end with an environmental kill. It's got to come down to the gun v gun. Who's going to take it? Will it be KS's?
He's seen him. He's seen him.
Ahmed or Mustafa from IQM. He stands first. He goes for it.
He gets
the down. What a clutch from IQM's Mustafa.
What an insane play coming out. Once again, 2 games back-to-back, insane plays from the whole day. And you know what? A record was broken as well. 21 kills, if I'm right in saying, coming out from MEA, which is just insane. You can't give them any smack talk for that.
No,
Massive
that was
props.
insane. And they ended 3rd place, unfortunately, even though all of them doing that heavy lifting there. KS, it looks like, had a lot of kills as well. You could see 9 between them. But Mustafa, it seems like this IQM squad is just a group of solo heroes. You know, they lose members left and right, but all of a sudden somebody steps up and carries, and this time it wasn't just a 3rd place finish. Mustafa manages to nab the chicken dinner and a 1v3 clutch. You can't ask for better than that.
No, you can't. He was like, yo, Tome, let me show you up how to do it properly. Goes in, dives right behind KS, and then just like waits around, and then eventually 1v3s clutches it in a massive snake play.
That was ridiculous, man.
Fantastic plays coming out there.
I'm trying to look back and think, like, have we had a performance anywhere like that? And
No.
No.
Not from a solo player, no.
No, not at all. He says, hold my M249, I'm going to get this one. It's easy peasy.
Well, I mean, I guess technically Reef did 1v...
You know, look, Reef had a better clutch overall, but I feel like positioning and the fact that we expect 7T to be that type of team is a little bit different. Whereas in this case, IQM really snuck their way into the position, and it's the second time we see a solo player do it. We're going to see it in the highlight reel, but let's take a look back at where this all began, because it was 69 SWAT actually, once again, mopping the floor with Rush to Crush, but not without some casualties.
Yeah, so he managed to get 2 down, then got down himself, and then we see this awesome fight coming out, and that grenade being perfect onto Ben, the second one coming out, but not doing any damage, but the shots with the DP28 were on point down in Ben. But unfortunately, Snap were eventually to be fallen foul to the gun of Dr. Luz here.
Yeah, Nox just better tactics. You said it yourself during the outplays, and honestly, Seif did a good job trying to debate and run around the rosy here on these members of Nox, but unfortunately, they just didn't quite have the right angles or the right equipment to really do it. The guns weren't as good at getting the aim on. Here was Seif trying to make that hero play, but Nox just a little bit better, even though they did get a knock there onto Glico.
And yeah, you can see actually last player there pick up the UMP, and like I said, it was a UMP versus M4, and M4 does trumpet. And here we see Rush the Crush making a massive mess of things to MEA, who are on a massive spree before that point. Actually, I think that was their spree point, and they ended up with 21 kills, which was insane. But AXT just had a terrible game.
Yeah, AXT had a bad one, but you can't really take it away from them. 2 chicken dinners and a 2nd place finish before that, so I don't think they'll be too upset with the results. Meanwhile, there was some car warfare here. Nox just finding themselves on the wrong side of this mafia battle, and it was just absolute carnage out in the open. And later on, some comeuppance would come in as VW came guns a-blazing, body blocked everything, and MEA just said, well, thank you very much. We'll take this house. And speaking of taking houses, SB did just that to 963 with a significantly better breach than we've seen thus far.
And it was actually a really good defense from 963. I think the best performance from them in a sort of a defensive position.
Well, last game was better, I think, just because of placement. But at the same time, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
They definitely stepped it up big. And this was our MEA put 7T 6 feet under.
It was just so unfortunate from SB. I mean, you could actually see he pushed out a little bit too far there, but this shot's coming out onto the last 69 SWAT player was an easy kill for them, and then we're going to be seeing them coming to fire from KA, which they ended up dealing with fantastically.
Yeah, that was lost, and of course, Fallenstein had some pretty step-up plays here against the KA members, but as we all know, all good things have to come to an end eventually for MEA, and while they had really great plays in eliminating this KA side, KS were the ones who turned it on them in the end, and Ari really stepping up in the clutch, but they still had no idea where that sneaky snake in the grass was, and boy, did it bite them in the behind.
Yeah, and I mean, MEA still doing a fantastic performance here, but they left themselves in the open a little bit too much to KS, and it's going to be their downfall. But the snake in the grass was a downfall for KS.
He's just got bullets raining over his head in 3 different directions here, and he calmly aims. He gets Golden Boy, he gets Evo, and then Ahmed, all of a sudden, you can feel a pin drop, and it's rough.
Yeah, I mean, this lasted for like, what, 2 minutes or so. It was insane. And then suddenly, Mustafa sees him. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, gets the kill. And look at this.
Yeah, two members of MEA at the top. Abbas and Falastine really. And Wasim is still in the top 4.
And so is Guns. All their players are in the top 5 here.
Yeah, that's insane,
That
actually.
is incredible players coming out from
And then, of course,
MEA.
Mustafa cracks into 8th place there just because he gets the 3 kills right at the end. You know, no problem. Just, hey, easy peasy.
Got to give props to MEA, though. That was some fantastic plays. I did call them out, and you were like, well, I don't know if they're going to be able to do too much.
I mean, they've had bad matches on Erangel. Like, we feel like the well was sort of poisoned earlier on, but here is MEA up against TUB.
My God.
And honestly, it was a pretty wide open one. We thought TUB might do a little bit better this time around, but look at the difference in damage and points and everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's even a fair comparison. I mean, 2.9k damage versus 1k. I mean, it's completely different on the other side of the spectrum, and they do end it up with 40 points, so 10 less than the majority. Who was it again? Who got the main kills?
AXT earlier on. Oh, you mean in this map?
It was also 69 SWAT. No,
yeah.
SWAT 69 who managed to get 50 points.
And that was in that single Miramar match that they get so much off of it. But here's our head-to-head. We see Guns here just doing so much more work than his opposite number. Not even as much distance covered because they actually had a pretty good circle position, but they ran it all the way to the end. And here was Wasim, one of the other big standout players for MEA.
Not a crazy amount of damage difference, though, there. And
no, but it only counts if you get the kills.
Yeah, no, that is it. You can get a million damage, but you might not get any kills. And then on to the last comparison here, our last head-to-head. It will be
Falastine.
And
it's no contest, honestly. Falastine was the last man standing for MEA, and he has been the clutch carry, I think, for this team. Even though everybody pulls their weight, he does seem to stand out more often than not.
Oh, definitely. He's quite consistent, and you actually saw him split off from the group, and he would do sort of a 1-2 split, which is actually definitely something you should take into consideration and do. And there's actually Abbas versus Miramar as well, which is a decent comparison.
Yeah, this is probably the closest it was, but I mean, when you look at the kills, it's still really not that close. Abbas really did step up in the clutch on that one. He was also getting up his teammates too, getting all the reses when he needed.
Yeah, and I just want to finish my point on Falastine. So Falastine actually quite often split away from MEA and just
he had the vehicle usually.
Yeah, he used the vehicle to reposition himself, and then his teammates would come around and they'd really he would help them from a distance. It was fantastic. And let's have an overview of the standings here, guys. And what a day we've had.
Yep, 7 Reef team, even though they had a bad round, still managed to maintain that first place position with 195 points across their 8 matches. AXT in a second place with 188, Nox with 143, so there's where that fall-off happens. But right behind them, creeping up, is the ME Assassins. What a day they had, especially that last one on Erangel where they picked up so many kills. And you can see they have so many more even than Nox, who play it much more calm, controlled. You get into the rest of the standings here. You see TRD, LTK, these teams that didn't play yesterday have quite a lot more. SMP still slowly moving up the standings, but only in 14th place there. That was a bad round for them, unfortunately, the last on Erangel.
I'm interested to see what TRD can do next week. Well, all these teams, like LTK, Life to Kill, and the TRD.
Even the NBC Falcons, I mean, they were the ones starting to step up at the end in our previous day's performance.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of remind me of MEA, so we'll have to see on that front. But look at this, 963 make it into 17th position.
You know, it may not be top half, but I feel like they deserve it. After so many rough rounds, they find a couple of good ones. That was not the best, for sure, but they still managed to get a couple of extra kills, a decent placement.
Yeah, so they got 1 kill in that last game. They got 3 kills in the previous one to that, and then 2 kills on Vikendi, if I'm remembering correctly.
I think you're right.
Which is actually really well played by them. And then this bottom half, no one actually has played today. But next week is going to be really interesting to see what TRD and the following teams that haven't actually played today can actually pull out back. Can they catch up to these guys and overtake them, or are they going to stay behind? Because we did actually see TRD still keep the lead after the first game, and they're not even playing today.
No, you're right. I think that'll be the really interesting thing there. And, of course, if you missed any of the Week 1 group stage matches, you can, of course, find all the information on that and some VODs over to our website at clubopen.pubgmobile.com. Go ahead and check that link out. Definitely you want to get on that one. You'll be able to see all the players, the rosters, information, even where they all come from, which is super cool stuff. And in addition, you can also catch all of the games live and VODs as well over on youtube.com/PUBG Mobile Esports. And
ding dong that notification bell.
You better. Don't want to miss a single minute of the action. But that wraps it up for our first week here in the group stages of the PUBG Mobile Club Open. I cannot wait. The next week's matches starts on May the 3rd. That is, of course, this Friday at 8 p.m. Central European Summer Time. Do not miss it. You will not want to. The action will roll on here in the MEA region and everyone else. But on behalf of the broadcast team here, as well as me, Pyrotechnics, and my good buddy here, Tom Pickering, also known as We Free Men, we will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.
See you guys next time.